Good evening, America. I am the Big Red One guy, reminding you that together we must break the machine. Tonight, we're going to go over not any articles or anything tonight. We have the interview with Elon Musk and Trump on X on Trump's channel. So we're going to tune into that today. Hopefully, it's going to be fucking epic. Uh, when those two guys get together, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some crazy shit that they're going to talk about. Don't know what the format is. If Elon Musk is going to let people ask questions. I know when they do the live, you have to raise your hand. I'm not too familiar with how they do shit on Twitter. So I'm sorry, X. It's always going to be Twitter to me. Sorry, people. And I'm going to try to make sure I catch that, and you know, I'll review it with you, and we'll watch it together. If you're on my channel, we could, what do you call it, hang together and you know do our thing. So honey, if you're here watching tonight and you got anything you want to say, put you up on the any questions you want to ask, and what I think about something that might have been said. Be more than happy to answer anything that you guys got going on. If come on today and you're a douchebag and rude, I'm not even gonna waste my time with you. I don't waste my time with anybody who's a rude dipshit. So anyway, let's get going. I'm gonna work on trying to make sure that I have everything set up here correctly. And like I said, it's gonna be on Donald Trump's channel, not Elon Musk's. So I have to get my stuff together here. Uh anyway, here we go. All right, I got that. The next step is gonna be making sure I catch the live on time, and so I'm paying attention to what's going on Trump's channel. So hopefully I'll catch it in time. Hopefully I'll get alerted. I'm supposed to get alerted for it. I'm not sure if that's going to actually happen. I should probably refresh that fucking page because it's been a while. Yeah. So refresh this page, and we'll see. I don't know how many people are going to be on it. I think he's going to break Twitter. I know he had some troubles when he was trying to do a live with Ron DeSantis to talk about Ron DeSantis's campaign for president. He was going to run for president. Shit kind of shit the bed a little bit, and then it got moving. So what I'm hoping for is that things go as flawlessly as possible. But like with anything that goes on the internet, you never know what's going to happen. You know, um, there are other people that I'm paying attention to. So just to kind of see what's going on, and hopefully, like I said, we can have a good watch. Get some people together, and we can watch what's going on, and you know and see what's up. So hopefully, everything, like I said, will kind of go good with the broadcast on X. So I don't know what's gonna go on. And anyway, how's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's kind of amped up. I know I don't seem like it, but I am. I'm a little under the weather, so I have been for weeks now. I haven't been feeling well, so I've had some medical stuff going on, and took some time away from the camera, took some time away from recording videos, and as soon as I came on, got the hate right away. Love it. It's just is what it is. What am I gonna do? There's nothing I can do about that. And you know, I sent some invites to some of my homies, to see if they want to come in and join in on this, and just see what's up. So hopefully they'll pop in, and if not, it'll just be us tonight, America. It's all good. People got lives and people got schedules, and my friends are pretty busy, so I can't count on them to just, hey, stop what they're doing. They got families and shit like that they got to take care of. So, and responsibilities, but hopefully, like I said, in a little bit less than a little bit over 20 minutes, probably about 25 minutes, we got Trump going on. But I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. It looks like Kamala Harris has been uh, stealing some of Trump's policies and stuff like that. I couldn't. I can't believe it. Well, actually, I could believe it. So, she's talking about no tax on tips. She had a rally with a lot of people. They keep paying these celebrities to come and put on concerts for these people, so these people show up, right? So I mean, why wouldn't you, right? You get a free concert, you don't even have to worry about it because they're not. It's not. I don't think they're paying for anything to get into a Harris thing. I think you just got to sign up for it. And she was on stage talking about how she's going to get tough on the border. I know she posted something today about trying to plead to the American population that she was in office when all this shit is happening and that she's going to fix it. I don't know what people think she's going to fix because she was part of the problem with Joe. They turned a blind eye to a lot of things with the president. And where is the president anyway? Does anybody know where the fuck he's been? He's been like missing in action. The the media has a complete blackout on him. I haven't seen him. I think honestly, I think he just did recently did an interview. So, uh, you know, going on that whole thing with the KKK and Trump again, which is utter bullshit. And anybody who knows that, anybody who knows that Trump is not even remotely affiliated, it's funny coming from him because he did a eulogy at a Grand Wizards cemetery. Senator Byrd was like a grand fucking wizard, captain, champion, whatever the fuck they're called. I don't know the ranks of the KKK. Nobody should know the ranks of the KKK. So we got some movement going on the channel. It's just things that are just popping up. So again, I hope I get an alert and I can see this. I don't know when they're gonna post it and whatnot. And I just want to make sure that I catch this for all of you, anybody who might be watching with me tonight. And, if nobody's watching, it's fine. And you catch this later. Like I said, people have lives, and, it's not just my homies who, like I said, I invited, but the average American. You guys all have lives and stuff. You don't have to tune into this. That's why you got fucking nuts like me who come on and watch this stuff and comment on it and stuff like that because that's what I do. And hopefully everybody's having a good night tonight and start of your week. Hope the week goes by fast for everybody. And I just can't wait to get this going, to see what the hell's going on. We don't have any updates, so I'm hoping that we get something. But it's good. Listen, I'm not monetized, so it's not like I can, be reading chats right now or they super chats or anything like that. And I got 19 strong people who subscribe to the channel, and I'm okay with that. There's people who are reaching out to me and, want to actually watch what I'm doing. So I'm honestly very, very much okay with that. If I get bigger, I hope so. We'll see. Hopefully I can. And I do have friends of the channel. I had Dick Salasan, who's a comedian and United States Marine veteran. Well, he's always a Marine. You know how that saying goes. Once a Marine, always a Marine. So, like, I can dialogue with him because we both spent time in the Middle East. He's a pretty funny dude. So, if you're not following him on Instagram and whatnot, he's a pretty funny guy. And he's grinding. My homeboy Dick Salas is grinding. He's out there doing his thing. And, I wish him all the success and his family and stuff, because he deserves it. He's made some sacrifices, not only for this nation but in life, and he deserves to get a win. So again, that's just my buddy Dick that I'm talking about, Solace, uh, out from Los Angeles area in California, comedian and funny. So if you get a chance, take a look at him, guys. He's a pretty funny dude. He always posts videos of his stuff, and if you're in the LA area, on his channel he's constantly posting when things are going to go off and pop off, and you can go chill with him. And it's only not only just him. He's got a group called the Court of Comics, and a lot of them are pretty funny. I believe a few of them are veterans, so go give them a shout out on his Court of Comics channel as well. And pay attention to, if you're living out there in the LA area, pay attention to when he's going to have some stuff. So again, still waiting on this stuff with Donald Trump. We got about 20 minutes to go. And, hopefully we can get into this. I came on a little bit early because I wanted to make sure that I could figure some of this crap out. Because, like, I've never done the live thing on Twitter where I actually watch somebody. It's my first time, man. I'm sorry, X. I'm not good at any of this shit. I'm just a Gen Xer just trying to learn all of this stuff. Even though I have some tech knowledge, trying to do all this crap on my own and stuff and not have people. who helped me out. Is it's all good. Everybody who starts out on this doing YouTube or Rumble or whatever they do and stuff like that, or live streaming on X or Kick and any of the other switch. What's that? The Switch is it? Is it Switch? I don't know. One of the other gaming things, channels, and everybody starts off with a grind by themselves. Again, a lot of stuff going on in the news. I did a video about some stolen valor by Harris's VP pick. Got a little bit more information on that. That kind of opened my eyes a little bit. And it's still stolen valor to me. But again, in my video, I did say, hey, he did serve, and that's not what was in question. It was just where his record prior to his retirement and stuff like that. And I just think that with stuff like being with serving in the military, you gotta just be real about it. That's all. He could have made the changes 20 years ago. The first time somebody made a mistake, he could have corrected it, but he just chose not to, and he's kind of gained politically because of it, because people have thought that he was a command sergeant major during wartime. The reality is he sat in a billet, uh, and was supposed to go through the training to become a sergeant major. Right? There's like things he had to do. It's like a 2 year, I think. It's like a 2 year pipeline, I believe, that he was scheduled to do, and he was supposed to do all of that. Told his commander that he would. Told his commander that he would stay with his people and stuff like that and deploy. And then he just decided that he was going to bounce. But it's cowardly to me. But it is what it is. What are you going to do? People are just going to do what the fuck they want. And the reality is, during the deployments, people were trying to get out of the deployments all the time. So I don't even hit them too hard on that. I might have a personal thing about it, but I get it. There were plenty of people who deferred their deployment, and like I knew people who deferred the deployment that I went on, but they ended up coming after me. So when I was on my rotating out of Iraq, a lot of the people who deferred were coming back with other units and stuff like that. So it's it is what it is, man. What are you gonna do? People just got to be honest. He should have just been honest with it, and he would have been all right. But as a veteran, you know, I feel like it's just fucked up. Again, he could have fixed his stuff, and he didn't. Chose not to. So sorry, people. We still got some time, about 15 minutes, and if I'm boring you guys, I apologize. This is just me. This is how I speak. When I have people on with me, it's different. It's easy to kind of dialogue with them, and we take question shit about different things and go over different articles and different stories and whatnot. So it's a little bit. I'm still learning this game, fam. This is it's not an easy one. It's definitely not an easy one. So let me take a look at what's going on here on Trump. I'm gonna refresh the page, see where we're at. Hopefully they'll get a little bit early, start a little early, because you never know with these things. Sometimes this shit just goes crazy. And like I said, when Ron DeSantis was announcing that he was going to be running for president, he did it with Elon, and they kind of had some technical difficulties. So I hope they don't have that, because if they have any kind of technical difficulties, they're not going to let Trump hear the end of it in the Marxist state media, and then definitely not. They hate Elon too, so they're not going to, give him a pass either. So, just give me 1 second, fam. I just gotta, what do you call it? Make an adjustment here. All right, and I'm back. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to go away like that. Um, Again, still waiting on Trump. And what I should have did is I should have had some shit that we could talk about. I don't know if anybody has seen the trailer for, anybody who knows me in real life knows that I'm into Star Wars and stuff like that too. So even though I think Disney Star Wars is straight up trash, most of it, I did like first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian. I was okay with season 3. A lot of people hated it. It just kind of did veer off the story of Grogu and the Mando uh a little bit. So it just I don't know, wasn't all that great. Me personally, I kind of liked it. Wasn't a huge fan of Ahsoka. Ahsoka was like my favorite character. She ended up being one of my favorite characters. Anakin has always kind of been, and Luke have always been my favorite characters. This the story of Anakin, which got completely and totally upended with the Askalite, which was terrible. So wait a minute, I see some sort of blue shit popping off. Let me see. Oh, hang on. All right, people, we got some music. Welcome to the Spaces, where live audio conversations happen. Spaces are public. Anyone can join. Okay. I've never done this, so hope you guys can hear that. Oh, we're rolling now, people. I guess they're just giving me. Got it. Can I move this? I can't move it. Huh. Okay. Well, let me see how many people are on there. Just 83. Let's see what the chat is like in it. 278. I wish we can move this. So this is definitely so from Team Trump. This is campaign people. This is the biggest interview in history, and now we're asking you to make this President Trump's biggest fundraising day ever. So it looks like they're looking. So I don't know. I'm gonna scroll down, see just like some normal people, which is a good thing, right? You want as many people as possible to be listening and stuff like that. And I don't know how this thing. I don't know how to raise my hand if I have a question. I don't know what the format is. I know there's this thing that you're supposed to be able to do. Oh, okay, I see it. Request to speak down at the bottom. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, but it would be nice if I can get in. But pretty sure he's going to get bombarded with all the big rigs. They're going to kind of get it, But he's pretty good about talking to people, so hopefully we'll get it. 532 people. I suspect this thing's gonna fucking blow up, people. This shit's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be nuts. I just think it's gonna be freaking nuts. It's definitely gonna have a lot of people. All right, people, I didn't fuck that up. I thought I was gonna fuck that up for sure. I thought for sure I was gonna fuck that up. I didn't, so that's a good thing. And I'm looking at my regular live stream. It's several minutes behind, it looks like. I don't know why I started so late. It's crazy. It looks like we got about 9 minutes before this kicks off. And technical difficulties, like I said, fucking retarded. Swear. Sorry, people. Some shit on my mouse. I got this extra button that kind of fucking knocked me off, so That fucking sucks. Sorry about that. Burns my ass when I do stupid shit like that. Again, I'm a newbie to. I'm a fucking straight noob when it comes to this shit. So I know I was gonna fuck something up. I just gotta be careful. I don't touch some of these buttons. Fortunately, I didn't get knocked off of Twitter, so it was easy for me to come back and share it. A lot of people, a lot of people. Seven minutes. 7 minutes till we get there. So sorry about that. Well, that's what happens when you're fucking a monkey. Could probably teach a chimp to do this shit better than I do it. Still got the music going. I don't know who that is. Who's this? They got a lot of people on here. At least the music ain't too bad. It could really suck. Right? We could be listening to some. Whoever picked his music wasn't that bad. We could be listening to some real fucking, real boring shit. It was just, at least it's a little bit soothing. Can't believe I almost fucked that up. Just waiting on, I guess we're waiting on 5 minutes. I guess we're probably waiting on Elon. I'm just glad he's doing this. He got himself back on, which is good. I know that says 532 people. I'm pretty sure there's more than that in the chat. Probably hasn't updated on my end. Thought that would get, what do you call it, real time. Be nice if this, what do you call it, started early, but I don't think so. Looking for like a mute on this. It's a request to speak. Should have a mute. Well, I got a mute. But I don't think that mutes anything on the screen in case I'm gonna ask a question or something like that. Or if there's a question. It's ridiculous how freaking I dropped my feed with the click of a mouse. Almost fucked that up. I've been on for about 26 minutes. Time's kind of moving a little bit fast. It's supposedly 3 minutes until this starts. So hopefully we're good. guess they restarted the song. But I don't know what they're gonna talk about. Hopefully, I hope Elon asks them some questions. From what I understand, it's supposed to just be straight up questions, right? And, like hopefully he'll take some questions from people in the listeners. It'd be really nice. It'd be really really nice because we'd like to get some answers, right? Like, listen, man, I like people. I like Donald Trump. You know, I know him from going back, growing up in New York. I know what he's all about. To me, his presidency was awesome. Did he have some flaws? Absolutely. Did he make some mistakes? Absolutely. Can't deny that. But I want him to answer some questions, right? You know, sometimes he goes on freaking tangents, but that's who he is, okay? Especially like when he feels the questions are stupid, right? Or they ask him a dumbass question, he'll go back and what do you call it? You know, or someone makes a comment when you're on the debate stage, like what he did with Joe Biden. First off, he was smart. He just let Joe Biden talk. That was like the best thing he could do. Is just let Joe Biden talk. And then, you know, anytime that they asked him a question and Joe Biden made a comment about him, he just went and answered, you know, refuted whatever comments that Joe had. And I think he's going to do the same thing with Kamala. You know, that she agreed to do a debate with him on ABC, I think it is. She refuses to go on Fox because she knows that they'll ask her some tough questions, and she's terrified to go on Fox. Period. She's not trying to get on Fox for anything if she doesn't have to, which is stupid on her part, right? Like, you should get to as many views as possible, but the reality is that she has no policy. She's already stealing Trump's policies on stuff, and you know, 1 minute, peeps. Don't know if this is going to start on time, but hopefully it does. $44,000 others. Oof. I don't know what that 532. I keep getting all these freaking things. I don't want to clip anything. I don't know what the hell that is. Manage space. Maybe that's an emoji or some shit. I don't know. Again, I hope that you know, he answers the questions and he doesn't fuck around with it. You know, I really do. I hope that he manages to get it all done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want him to really, really think about the people in this and think about what it is that people are asking. I really hope that he takes some questions from people. You know, of course, I haven't thought of a question to ask him, but if I think of one, I'll definitely try to get in there. But there's like 44,000 people on there. I doubt I'm gonna be able. I doubt I'm gonna be able to. What do you call it? It says 44,000. I think this is gonna blow up. It's 8 o'clock already. 8:01. We're running a little late. I don't want to leave because, like, I'm worried about not being able to get back on because I've never done this. So there's some like serious lag. Yeah, my what do you call it? Yeah, my stream is behind. Alright, my stream is now about 9 seconds behind. I don't know what's going on, peeps. I'm still waiting. 44,000. See if I recognize any of these big names, these blue check marks. Okay. All right. So I didn't fuck it up, even though I like clicked out and lost my feed. Come on, people, let's get this. I'm gonna click in on one of the other channels really quick, just so I could kind of. Stir. Yeah, there. Huh. Just hoping I can mute this really quick. Yeah, I got a feeling that. Yeah. Fuck. Screwed it up. Sorry, people. All right. So let's go to this. Let's go to Donald Trump. Yeah. I fucked it up. Damn it to hell. Okay, so I just checked somebody else's channel and son of a bitch, man. Yeah, I lost the signal. People. Man, I'm not happy about this. Well, for now, if you got anybody else that you listen to and whatnot, and fuck me. Can't believe that that just happened to me. Uh, I got kicked like an idiot. So I guess I'm not the only one who's having problems. Not the only one, so that's good. Space. Uh, I don't see a thing. I think it crashed. Maybe it's not me, people. Hope it's not me. All right, let's find Donald Trump. Yeah, people are posting that Donald Trump and Elon broke the internet. I was in and lost the feed. All right, let's try it again. Sorry, people. I was fucking in too, man. Oh, man. Shit just straight up sucks dick. Yep, this shit sucks. I am so sorry, people. I will keep. I'll hold on. Well, I'll end this. If anybody's tuning in, I'll end this. I was in too. I lost my fucking feet. Damn it to hell. Yeah. So it hasn't actually started because I keep checking somebody else's channel and that music that was playing on in the background is still going. Well, don't know if I'm gonna be able to watch this with you guys. Really, really sorry. Oh, this fucking sucks. Elon and Trump broke the internet. It's 19 minutes ago. People are telling people. I just opened up another window. I'm leaving it on that just to see if it'll go through. But if it doesn't go through, then I'm just gonna go ahead and cancel this because I'm not gonna have anybody. I don't think anybody's watching anyway. But if you were, I'm just gonna go ahead and what do you call it? 86 this because I don't want to keep people on all night. I was in. I was fucking in, man. Come on, people. Come on. Wait. I thought I saw home here. Elon Musk. I'm gonna try Musk's. Nope. Can't get into Musk's either. All right, people. Well, I tried. I was in. I got kicked. I think it was pilot error on my part, so I just want to apologize ahead of time. And I'm gonna end this here because if you tuned in and I'm just checking my thing, I don't think anybody tuned in anyway, so that's fine. And just go ahead and watch it on somebody else's thing channel, okay? And I apologize for having fucking issues. And it is what it is. Fuck me. Well, people, anybody who might have tuned in, I apologize. I'm having technical difficulties. I think a lot of people can't get in. I was in, and somehow I fucked it up. So I apologize, people. All right, and I'm gonna end this here. Y'all have a good night, and I'm gonna try to see if I can tune in and listen, and I'll make a video uh tomorrow. Hopefully, we can go over some of the things and stuff like that. I'll try to keep a memory, which sucks. All right, people, have a good night. Oh, okay. Okay. I thought it was me. Oh, excellent. I thought I fucked it up. I thought I fucked it up, man. I was in too. That's what sucks is that I was in and the shit just crashed. And I guess a lot of people are having issues. Thanks for giving me the heads up, John. Appreciate it, man. I really, really do. Jonathan let me know. Oh wow. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I had D-Day Cobra on in the background too, but he's still in, which is good. So if like you guys want to if you want to tune into him, he's still in. I hope that it comes back. I really do. Yeah, man. Well, I'm glad to know that it wasn't just me, and it was just everybody's just having issues. I feel you. Yeah, I know, man. I know. I'm glad you got a setup. It just kind of sucks that everybody's having issues. I was in, like I said, I was in, and then it just crashed on me. That shit just blows. What are you gonna do? Does Tim Pool? Does Tim have his working, John? I'm gonna have to bring on D Cobra. Uh, Come on now, come through. I just saw it flash. I hope it comes through. Oh, that's good. I see that. That's good, man. I'm glad you're able to at least watch it. Like I said, I think I'm watching it on D Cobra's the Cobra Cast, and he's on there with Drunk 3PO, and who else is on there? Jay Hailstorm's on there too with him, and so I'm glad that I'm glad that you were able to you still have it up, so that's good. I want people to be able to tune in, even if if it's fucked up for me. I'm gonna wait a little bit longer just to see, and then I might just bring up what do you call it, D-Day Cobra's feed on mine, and listen to his commentary, listen to Jay and whatnot, and laugh my ass off because I know it's gonna be funny. Yeah, yeah, Jay's opinions are gonna be absolutely fucking hilarious. Um, he cracks me up considerably. It's just he's so laid back. He's such a nice dude, and he's so laid back, but he's got some pretty strong opinions on things. His delivery is really, really hilarious. And of course, Jeremy's pretty funny watching him, So I appreciate you coming on, Jonathan. I really do, man. Uh, I got like I'm lucky to have 19 people who subscribe to my channel, and I'm happy with that. I know this is like a straight grind, and I appreciate you coming on. Anybody who comes on to listen to me rant, it's cool. So, if while you have your shit in the background and you want to dialogue with me, we can dialogue with me, and we can shoot the shit if you want to, and make time go by until it starts. Let me know when it starts, and I might, like I said, I might pull in D-Day Cobra's feed and just fuck it, watch it with his so I can at least hear it, you know. So I definitely appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Um, it's uh it's a tight knit family, man. Uh the geeks and gamers and nerdrotic, and people like Tugs and stuff like that. I've been following her for quite some time, and meeting some of you guys on her Discord and everything. You guys are good people. I try to tune in every chance I get with some of her live streams, but it's hard, because of life and whatnot. But I appreciate you guys, man. You guys are strong on your convictions, just like I am. I got a strong opinion on shit, but it's a like I said, it's just a tight group of people that stick together, and I appreciate that. And like I said, man, I appreciate anybody who comes on and is willing to shoot the shit with me. I go live on Sundays at 7, and I'll go over stuff that oh, you do. Oh, that's awesome, man. You know what? I'm used to seeing I'm sorry, I'm used to seeing psychotic mongoose and whatnot, and probably because I haven't tuned in a while. I've had to take some time off because of some medical stuff, and I've kind of been away from YouTube in general. And that's cool, man. That's pretty cool. I'm glad that you do that. They're both two very good people, both Tugs and X-Ray Girl, man. I like both of them. X-Ray Girl, she makes me laugh because she never gets my name right when I send the fucking super chat. It's awesome. She fucks it up all the time, and Tugs has to correct her. It's awesome. But they're good people, right? And two beautiful human souls and two human beings, two beautiful women, and I enjoy their content, you know. So I'm hoping one day I can get them to come on and dialogue with me and stuff like that, or I'll come on with them because their channels are like way bigger than mine. I don't see why they would want to come on, even though they're good people. They got a lot of shit going on. So you know, but that's cool, brother. I'm glad they have people like you, man. They need it. Hopefully one day I'll get big enough where I'll need mods. Uh, I enjoy this stuff. I enjoy talking to people, and I enjoy trying to put out information. I get hate mail and stuff like that, and the hate comments and stuff. It's pretty funny actually with some of the noobs that are out there. So work weird hours, but I cover them when I can. I'm always there for Sunday fun day. Okay, for X-Ray and Mongoose is good people. Yeah, yeah. I like Mongoose. Mongoose is always every time I come in, it's always Mongoose has remembered me, and actually all the mods have remembered me when I come in. Well, they're good with everybody. Everybody who comes onto the streams, they immediately interact with say hi and stuff like that. So good bunch of people, very tight knit, like you said, like I said, and hey man, hopefully I can get big enough. You could come mod for me. Because I need all the help I can get with just learning this stuff. This is all new to me, and even though I grew up with technology as a Gen Xer, it's just this all this shit is new to me, trying to stream and whatnot. So, again, I appreciate anybody coming to hang with me, and I go live on Sundays at 7 p.m. and I'm gonna try to touch more on some entertainment stuff. I've been pretty political because it's a hot election season, and we got a lot of shit going on in the country, but I'm gonna try to, you know, dip into some of the entertainment stuff as well because I got plenty of opinions on Disney and Lucasfilm and Marvel and whatnot and everything because everything is like everything we love. For me, growing up is football right now. Oh wow, you do all of that? No shit, man. I'm more of a quiet mod. There's nothing wrong with that, man. Ray is going. I'm modding all four of her streams: YouTube, Kick, Rumble, and Twitch. I called it Switch earlier. That's how fucking old I am. I didn't know the right fucking term for it. I couldn't figure it out. I was trying to remember. I knew it was something with an itch. I called that shit Switch earlier. Oh man, you're busy for X-Ray Girl. I'm just glad that listen, man. I'm glad those ladies got people like you to jump in and help them out because I'm sure they get a bunch of shit that comes in too between the bots and the haters and stuff like that. You guys got to be on top of it. Oh wow, you do Tugs, Kick, and Twitch too. I'm gonna be looking for you now, man. Now that you're over here and giving me your time, I appreciate it, man. I'm a very humble person, man. I don't sound like it when I'm ranting and stuff, but I'm very humble and I'm very grateful when people. Holy shit, you do her Discord too? No shit, bro. You're just a busy bee. I'm glad. You know what though? But I think you mods like doing that shit, which is cool. Like you enjoy doing it because they're good people to work for, right? And to help out. X-Ray and Tugs are awesome. Tugs is like mad cool. She just I don't know, like she interacts with me from my personal account. Now she interacts with me with my public one. But she interacts with me. Holy shit, bro. I'm not gonna ask you what you do because I don't want to put your business out, but yeah, I work uh I work a 9 to 5. So I do my YouTube stuff after work and I'm kind of limited to I'm just so I don't burn myself out. I'm doing like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I think on Saturdays now I'm gonna start doing in case you missed it, try to catch up on some stuff and just post it up to go out in the afternoons. But I think I have to do it on Saturdays. I used to have one of those 60-hour work weeks, man. I know what that's like, brother. I definitely know what that's like. Not just from my military time too. Like I worked in construction management for quite some time and my days were fucking long. Really, really long. So what do you think about Harris's pick, brother? I know you had some strong comments in the sections. Like I was with you on them too. I did a video on that fuckneck. 50 hours a week at Amazon and 8 hours at McDonald's. Everyone in X-Ray Tugs Discord knows. Oh, okay. All right, man. I just wanted to, just wanted to make sure that I, what do you call it? Respected your privacy. Uh, did it start yet, by the way, or is it just it's still fucking down for everybody except for the few who got in early? I see Elon Musk on there. Hang on, I'm gonna. No, music's still going on in the background. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. Everything we love is fucking foobar right now, man. Everything. Uh, don't even get me started on Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy, man. I call her fucking Kathleen Palpatine because she's just. It's sad, man, because I actually thought when Disney bought Lucasfilm, I actually thought I was like, wow, Disney has like a chance here to really, really dig into some really great stories in the expanded universe. And then like with it wasn't even a month, I think, and they were like, fuck the expanded universe. Who gives a shit, right? And I was like, okay, well, it's Kathleen Kennedy. She's been with Lucas for a long time. She knows his vision. So if nothing else, she would be able to. I see it's still down. Okay, and she'd be able to, you know, carry it on, right? Nope. She told three generations of fans to go fuck themselves, and the garbage that they've been putting out is just insane. Uh, the Askalite was just terrible. It was really tough to stomach that shit. I will say, I watched that trailer for the Skeleton Crew. I'm kind of looking forward to it. It's got a little bit of a Goonies, Stranger Things. Yeah, man, they did, bro. Yeah, bro. They did do him. They did him really dirty, and they're doing Luke Skywalker dirty, man. That whole heir to the Empire. That's a Luke Skywalker story, and Mara Jade, okay, and fucking Han and Leia and everything, and Chuba. Everybody, like the whole crew, okay. That whole heir to the Empire had something to do with it, And in the end, it ended up, being a thing about Mara Jade and Luke Skywalker, right? And they just throwing out the expanded universe was. And look, what do they have to do, right? They threw it out in the beginning, and because the shit that they're putting out is such garbage, okay, that that what do you call it? They got to keep digging into the expanding universe. There's a way to fix it, by the way. Okay, I mean, it doesn't take rocket science to fix all of this shit. I thought they were gonna start with like the fate of the Jedi. That's the last set of books I read. Yeah, man. The Thrawn trilogy, the Thrawn trilogy was real deal, man. If you get a chance, like I said, the last set of books I read were the Fate of the Jedi. It's like I don't want to say about 10 books. I got to go back. It's just a few of a few of the great authors of the expanding universe just put the storyline together that was absolutely fantastic, and it takes place after. I don't know how familiar with the expanding universe you are. Uh, it takes place after Jason Solo turns to the dark side, right? And then Luke Skywalker goes off on this. No, no, that's not. It's not the Darth. I think Darth Cadus is kind of mentioned in that. Um, yeah, Cadus. Yeah. You might. Well, wait a minute. Was Darth Cadus the one that seduced Luke's Cade Skywalker? I'm throwing my fucking Sith off, man. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, brother. My Sith. Yeah, Cadus is right. You're right. You're absolutely right, bro. You're right. Cadus is Jason. You're absolutely correct. So the fate of the Jedi come you're absolutely right, bro. Thanks for like reminding me. Um so I actually when I read the Fate of the Jedi, I hadn't read any of the expanded universe in quite some time. So I didn't even know that Jason fell to the dark side until I read those books. And then what do you call it? Luke kind of gets the blame for it, right? Like they use him as a scapegoat and he's okay with it. And him and Ben, his son, go on a what do you call it? They go on a sojourn, the same sojourn that Jason went on. Okay, and Jason learned all these new ways to use the Force with these different species, and it was fucking insane. And then they introduced Abeloth, which is what I think they're gonna do in the Ahsoka series, which sucks because that should be a Luke thing too, and I think they're gonna fucking screw him over, which blows. So if you get a chance, man, read the Fate of the Jedi. It's essentially the story that happened right after Darth Caedus. And again, I didn't even know about that until I was like, yo, that's some deep shit. I gotta go back and read those. Uh I'm looking to probably pick up some of the books again. Again, I have the Oh, you did? Okay. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. You're at yep. Abeloth what do you call it? The Abeloth arc was insane, man. She was fucking she and since you read it, Luke didn't even destroy her. And who was the Sith Lord that freaking helped him, right? Well, kind of somewhat helped him. It was really Luke that banished her again. Because if you know her story, she was essentially the stepmother to the son and the daughter, and was like a love interest of the father from the Clone Wars. And she got corrupted because she wanted to. She used what the hell? It was like the well of some the pool of something. There was like these two things that she did. I can't remember what they were called in the books because I'm fucking 50 and my memory sucks. What do you call it? But she ended up just totally wrecking herself, and she's just nasty. You can't really kill her, and she got loose because of essentially the death of the father and the son and everything. Essentially, the death of all of them. Just what do you call it? Released her. She was what is that? The Maw? I think that's where she was banished to. But she does some crazy shit in those books. Some real crazy stuff. Makes Jedi do all kinds of shit. She reaches out through the Force and touches them. There's like a lot of shit that goes on. Appreciate you hanging with me, man. Yes, the Maw is exactly where she was imprisoned at. Yeah, man. You definitely read those books, bro, and your memory's probably better than mine because it's just been a while. I think 2014 was the last book, or 15. That was around the time, and Darth Krayt was the Sith Lord. Okay, okay, all right, I gotcha. Yeah, I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember for the life of me who the Sith Lord was that helped him. And it wasn't Darth Krayt the one also that seduced his like was it his great grandson or something like that? Cade Skywalker his great grandson or grandson? Oh, hang on. I'm gonna click on. They're saying to refresh and we can get in. So I'm gonna refresh here. Okay, come on. All right, I'm in, bro. I'm in, man. Okay. Hey, brother, I'm in. Hopefully you hang with me, man. I don't remember if it's the grandson or great grandson, but it was Crate. Yeah, and then he had was it Darth Talon, the Twi'lek that was his like love interest and stuff. Bro, I appreciate you coming to hang with me, man. I'm in, by the way. You the real deal, homie. Thanks for hanging with me, man. You're making the time go by too, man. Having a good conversation. I guess they fixed it. Thank the heavens. That was gonna be brutal. Yo, so do you drive for Amazon, man? Okay. Yeah, Star Wars: The Old Republic is just such an underrated game. So many people hate on that game. That game I thought was awesome. I haven't played in a long time because I used to play with my brother. You're a picker. Okay. What can you explain? Is that like you go through the orders and shit in the warehouse and like you pick all the stuff out and make sure it gets where it needs to? Okay, I got you. Bro, 60 hours of that shit, man. Well, I heard Amazon pays good though. I heard they be taking care of their peoples. So glad we're back up. 773,000 people. That's crazy. There's a lot of people. Brother, I feel you. I feel your pain, man. I feel your pain on how much you make. I'm not making that much money either, man. I actually make less than you. And we're supposed to get a raise that we should have got last year, finally coming uh, at the end of this month. We got an email that it's finally going to be in our checks. So, to at least give you good like medical and dental and whatnot, I could say that the company I'm with, the dental and vision, I don't need the medical because I go to the VA for that, but uh, which I've been fortunate that I haven't had like terrible care uh, from the VA where I'm at. That's like a good thing. I've been okay. Again, homie, appreciate you hanging with me, man. I know you could be tuning in elsewhere, and you're tuning in with me. It looks like don't know if it started. The music stopped. Okay. Oh, all right. Hold on one second. I just gotta kind of adjust here. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. I think they're getting ready to start. I mean, it's kind of. Hey, does my camera look slow to you? I got a reading that I got an alert from my studio that my camera's not running well. Let's see what's going on. Hang on. Okay. So it's not just me with low sound coming for the thought I heard them messing around. Oh, okay. He muted. TJT muted himself. Wonder where Elon went. Okay, thanks for the heads up, man. Yeah, I got a message that what do you call it? My camera, the frame rate was like slow or something like that. It kind of looks slow on my end what I'm looking at in the studio, but I can't really tell. Take a look on my YouTube. It looks like it's moving pretty good on my YouTube channel. Yeah, it looks like it's moving. Damn, man, I can't believe you work all those hours and you mod. That's you're grinding, bro. Okay. Yeah, let me know, man. It looks like it looks like it's on my end. It looks a little choppy. Yeah, I'm looking at my. I went to my channel on YouTube just to see it. It does look a little choppy. It's dropping frames. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. It looked like that to me too on my studio side. Yeah, just keep me posted, man. I went to my channel to check it too on to see what YouTube is seeing, what you're seeing on YouTube, and it looks a little definitely looks a little choppy. Well, no, my camera's acting up. It's all plugged in and everything. It's not on any kind of Wi-Fi or anything. It's like plugged directly in. That must be my signal coming in. My internet signal. Says I got a good signal. I use EVMux, by the way. I don't use Streamlabs and stuff like that because they're I just like EVMux, like their setup. But yeah, it's telling me I have a full signal. Yeah, I only use StreamYard or Streamlabs. Could be. I didn't even think about that, man. You would probably know better because you're a mod. You're used to all of this shit. Having to, yeah. I guess again, I can see in my studio that it's choppy. That sucks. Yeah. How's the sound though? Is the sound okay? That's cool. That's cool, man. Okay, I'm glad you can at least hear me, even if it's a little choppy. I do understand some of the tech stuff, but you know, man, hopefully you can school me, brother. You don't, I know you got a lot of shit going on, but uh again, I go live usually on Sundays at about 7 p.m. and you're more than welcome to come and fucking, you know, watch my live stream and see if there's some shit that I need to fix. I'll take any and all criticism, man, because I'm new to this and I'm just trying to learn how to do this right. Okay. Yeah, man. Whoever you can get the help, bring in the EMS for this stuff. Uh, like I said, I'll any and all help I can get, and just to learn how to do this the correct way, and be good at and try to be as good as possible. As you can see, I talk better when I'm actually talking to somebody, so I'm trying to get people to come on my lives. Is like, I don't want to. I also feel bad because I don't want to disrupt anybody's schedules with their families and stuff. 7 o'clock at 7 p.m. People usually hanging with their fams. Although my one of my buddies said he might come on Sunday, so that'd be cool. That is true, man. That is absolutely true. And I try to stay authentic, man. I'm not gonna change for anybody. What you see is what you get. If you watch
All right,
any of
hello
my
everyone.
videos,
My
oh,
apologies for the late
looks like
start.
it started,
We
brother.
unfortunately had a massive distributed denial of service attack
Oh
against
wow.
our servers, and saturated all of our data
Did you
lines.
hear
Like
that, bro? They attacked their
basically
fucking servers,
hundreds of
man.
gigabits of data were saturated. We think we've overcome most of that, and so it's now time to
Fucking people
proceed.
just
But
suck, man.
as this
Yeah, they
massive
got
attack
DDoS, man.
illustrates, there's
That's
a lot of
terrible.
opposition to people just hearing what President
I
Trump
don't know
has to
if you know
say.
what they tried to.
And
They sent a letter to him
so,
from the
I'm
EU
honored to have this
telling him
conversation.
essentially
I
to
want to
cease and
emphasize
desist.
it's a conversation. Um, and it's really intended to just get a feel for what Donald Trump is just like in a conversation. It's hard to
Oh,
catch
this
a
is gonna be
vibe
awesome.
about someone if you just don't hear them talk in a normal way. And when there's an adversarial interview, like no one's themselves in an adversarial interview. Um, so for
Bro,
and
this
this
is
is
gonna be
really
epic.
aimed at kind of
Man,
open-minded,
fucking Marxist
independent
bastards.
voters
They
who
suck, man.
just
This
trying
is
to make
gonna
up
be
their
cool.
mind. Uh, and
It's gonna be a straight convo. I love it.
so you can understand like what is what is it just like to have a conversation. So um, honored to
Elon is like weird as
Donald,
fuck
great
when he
great
asks questions, so this is
uh,
gonna be
to
awesome. He
speak.
says some crazy
We
shit.
had a great conversation yesterday. As you mentioned yesterday, if we could just record that conversation and post it, it would have been excellent. And I hope we can have something like that today.
Well, I think we will. I'm pretty sure we will. And congratulations, because I see you broke every record in the book with so many millions of people, and it's an honor.
I'm just
We view
curious
that
to
as
see
an
how many
honor.
people are on there.
And then you do want
Bro, 1
silencing
million,
of certain
1 million
voices.
plus, man.
Usually, those are voices that have something to say that are constructive, oftentimes constructive. And
Yeah.
I
so
try to
we
tell
have to
people all the
consider it
time,
an
man,
honor. But
especially with
congratulations on
communism and
breaking every
fascism,
record in the book
two
tonight.
fucking
That's
different
great.
sides of
Well,
the
thank you.
socialist coin,
Um,
man.
well, I
They
mean,
just go about it
maybe
a
we
little
could
bit
start
different
off with
than each other.
I mean, the assassination attempt, which
Is it? Okay, hang on.
was an incredible thing, and
Let
I
me
have
see
to
if I can
say
adjust that
that your actions
audio.
after that assassination
It,
attempt were
I'm trying
inspiring.
to find the audio
Um,
on this thing.
you instead of shying away from things, instead of ducking down, um, you
Bro,
were
if you know
pumping
where
your
the
fist in the air
audio
and saying,
is on
"Fight,
this,
fight,
because
fight!" And I
I'm
think
new to this shit, let
that's,
me know and I'll
I
adjust
mean,
it. Hang on.
the president of the United States represents
How's that
America,
now?
and I think that is America. That is strength under fire, and
Let me,
so that's a big part of the reason why I was
how's it now,
excited
bro?
to endorse you as the president of the United States for having another term here is that was just incredibly inspiring. But I mean, what was it like for you?
Not pleasant,
Okay, hang
I
on.
have to
Not
be honest.
pleasant.
I said there was
I
blood. I
mean,
had
being
more
shot is
blood.
not
I
Hang on.
didn't know I had.
fun.
How's that?
I didn't know I had that much blood. The doctors later told me that the
Talking
ear
about
is
getting
a
shot.
place that is a very bloody place if you're going to get hit. But in this case, it was probably the best alternative you could even think about because it went at the right angle, and it was a hard hit. It was very,
All right,
I
man.
guess you
Thanks.
would
Thanks
say
for the heads up. I
surreal, but it
appreciate it.
wasn't surreal. I was
Yeah, I still
telling
sound okay.
somebody you have instances like this, or like a lot less than this, where you feel it's a surreal situation, and I never felt that way. I knew immediately that it was a bullet. I knew immediately that it was at the ear,
Yeah,
and because it hit very hard, but hit the ear. And I also heard people shout, "Bullets, bullets!" Get down, because I moved down pretty nicely, pretty quickly, and we had bullets flying right over my head after I went down. So I'm glad I went down. The bigger miracle was
Thanks for
that I
your
was
help, man.
looking in the
Appreciate it.
exact direction of the shooter, and so it hit me at an angle that was far less destructive than any other angle. So that was the miracle. That was
yeah.
for those
Split
people that
second.
don't believe in God. I think we got to all start thinking about that. You have to, I'm a believer now. I'm more of a believer, I think, and a lot of people have said that to me. A lot of great people have said that to me, actually. But it was amazing that I happened to be turned just at that perfect
Yeah.
angle, and all because I put
Too
down a,
bad
a chart
HAT
on
doesn't drink.
immigration that showed that the numbers were
I'd love
so
to have
great.
a
I
fucking beer with
I
him,
love
right,
that
man?
chart
I
even
mean,
more
maybe
now
it's a
that I
Yes.
open
sign.
it.
Same thing with
Maybe
Elon.
that's a
It's,
sign.
it's an immigration sign.
You
But
highlighted a serious issue, and
yeah,
at that moment, the
that's
the, the,
right.
the bullet missed your, hit your ear, but missed your head. I mean,
Well, the
yeah,
amazing thing is that the sign, I said, bring down that sign on immigration, and it was literally about an eighth of a second where it would be good, and after that it was going to
yeah,
be a disaster, no matter which way you were facing. But it just had that perfect angle, which was
yeah,
exactly at this shooter. Very
This
sad
is so cool
situation.
that he's just having a
Such a
straight
sad
conversation.
situation. As you know, we lost somebody that was great, Corey,
yeah,
who, a firefighter, a great gentleman, a great Trumper, He was just a fantastic family and a fantastic man. And a friend of mine came up, Elon, and said, "I'd like to give the family some kind of help." And I said, "All right, that's great." He said, "Do you mind?" I said, "I don't mind at all." And he wrote out a check for $1 million, gave it to the wife, and you know, she said, "This is really nice, but I'd rather have my husband back," which is a nice thing for
Sure.
somebody to say, to be honest. She's great. The family is great, and we raised a lot of
Yeah,
Yeah.
money for
man.
them and
I
for
actually
two other gentlemen
I
who
was
are
just gonna turn on
unbelievable
his
people. Also, they were hit really badly. They thought they were not going to
I was
make it,
just
and they
going to
did.
turn
The
on his, what do you
doctors
call it?
in the Butler area, I tell
His
you, they were
speech, okay?
incredible. They
The
saved the
rally and
two,
stuff. And I
and
got my
they
mom
were
called
really
me, and
hit
then like one of my good
tough,
friends
both of
from
them
Yeah.
equally. And we thought
Yeah.
from Illinois
my
called
first
me and like
question
they
was
just
because I
shot. I
heard
got texts. I was getting
bullets
texts. It was
flying over
crazy,
me. I
man.
said, "How many people were killed?" Because we had a massive crowd there, a
It's just
tremendous
nuts, man.
Yeah.
These people are
thousands
fucking
and
nuts, man.
thousands of people, and there was no land. I
Listen,
mean, it was all
if you
people.
watch
So I
any of my
said,
videos, you
"How
see
many people have been
I don't
killed?"
claim that
Because I
he's,
knew there were other
you know,
shots
the
being
second
fired,
coming of
Sure.
Jesus
and they
Christ or
said,
anything like that, but
"We don't know yet,
he was the
but
best thing
some
that
people have
happened
been
to us
badly hurt."
4 years ago.
And
Okay, we had
I
4
have to
years
give
of
the
no wars.
Secret Service sniper, they
We
call
had
him,
a great
or
economy
sharpshooter,
going. It
but
was great for
sniper,
Yeah.
because
absolutely every
he didn't
demographic.
know
You know,
there
did
was
I
a
feel like he
problem.
made some mistakes? Sure.
He's an
But I think he'd
extraordinary
be better
shot,
this time around, especially
obviously,
because he
and he
knows
didn't
who
know
all the
there was a
players
problem,
are.
and he was
Yeah.
able to pick it all out within 5 seconds. And he used one bullet from very far away, I guess probably about 400 yards. The shooter was
No one,
130,
brother.
but
No one, man.
Yeah.
he was on
It's
the
just
opposite
crazy.
side
It's
of the
absolutely
field and the
fucking
podium,
bonkers.
and
It's
he
bonkers,
saw
man.
the smoke and
I
the
would never
flame
wish
from the
that on.
gun,
I can't
immediately
listen. I couldn't
recognized
stand
it,
Obama,
and immediately
Clinton,
took a shot.
Biden, or Harris. I would
And it was
never wish
one
that shit on any of them,
perfect shot
ever.
from very far away. And if he didn't do
Yeah.
that,
Especially,
Elon,
you
he
know, our
would have.
current
I
president. You
mean, if
know,
he would have,
he
a
might
lot
be,
of
you
people,
know,
a lot more
demented and
people
everything, but
could have
Sure.
been badly hurt and
I would
killed.
not want that. It's just
So
bad for
Yeah.
our
I
country.
have to
Absolutely.
take my hat off to him, because that's also a surreal. You know, he's been with them for 23 years, and
Yeah.
he's never had anything like this. And all of a sudden, he has to act, and it's a very tough thing to
Sure.
act and to be shooting somebody. But he saw the gun, saw the smoke, saw the flame from the gun very far away. I obviously has very good eyes.
It's
He's got
true.
very good vision, which I
Going back
assume
to the
you have
Yeah.
to have
Bolsheviks,
in
man.
that particular work. But he took
Absolutely.
aim very quickly, and
Busy?
it
Okay.
was they say it
Later on.
was approximately 5 seconds from long range,
Yeah.
one bullet. If that didn't happen,
Yeah.
because the shooter had a lot of bullets,
Let me
he
know if
had
that's better.
a lot of cartridges up
Sure.
there with him,
He talks
so
loud anyway.
could
Well,
have been very.
I mean that's clearly he was very competent in taking that shot to stop the attempted assassination. But I mean, there does seem to be, I mean, some pretty significant failings elsewhere in the system. Like, there's just no way that, like, how on earth does a shooter get on a roof 130 yards away? Um, that seems crazy. I
Hang
think
on.
most people people are wondering how on earth could such a thing happen?
Well,
What happened to
I
my
view it as
microphone?
two ways. There should have been nobody on the roof. There were people,
Yeah,
Okay,
because
hang
there
on
were
one
so
second.
many tens of thousands of people there. There were people that were seeing him, and there was one woman with a red
Uh,
shirt and
right.
Trump all over
I
it,
saw
and
the videos.
she's screaming, "That guy's got a gun!" You know, you saw it probably.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah.
a
No, I
guy
saw
up
the
there
yeah.
with
videos.
a
I
gun.
mean, it's like I guess I mean, for my part, and I think probably many members of the public are wondering how the heck are, you know, basically people wondering by it, pointing out there's a guy on the roof with a gun,
Yeah.
and they're seeing it, but somehow it's not being addressed.
How's that, man?
That does seem
Yeah,
crazy.
well, they're going to learn from this. The communication between the local police, who sort of had an
Thanks again
idea,
for
and
your
then
help.
ultimately a man
I'm
lifted
learning on the
himself up
fly,
to the
actually,
roof, could barely do it
on what I
because
need to
he was
do
pulling
going forward.
himself up,
So I really appreciate it.
and
Yeah,
he saw the man with the gun. The man with the gun pointed the gun at him. He thought he was probably going to get shot, but he was like pulling
Uh,
himself up,
what do you suggest?
and because of that, he couldn't get to his
I got a
gun,
mixer
and he fell down.
with
Actually,
gain and
very badly
everything.
hurt his leg,
I turned the
his
volume down
ankle. I
on my
hear very
laptop to
badly,
turn
okay.
them
but
down.
he fell down,
You think that
and he
helps?
did. From what I understand, he
Hang
did
on.
say there's a guy up there with a gun, and
How's that?
the shooting started
You know
very
what?
quickly after that.
Do you know how to turn
I think it
the
forced the
sound
shooter to
down
go
on
maybe
Twitter?
quicker. You know, you're
Maybe
supposed to
that's
be
the
a very good
problem,
shot.
Yeah.
and I could
My
fix that.
sons, Don and
I
Eric,
don't know where that's
they
at. I
can't
can't find that.
believe what happened, but they said from 130 yards, a bad shot would hit that
I just
target
wanna.
almost every time. They said it's like in golf,
Yeah.
sinking a 2 foot
It's not
putt.
like one of those.
Yeah. It's not a
There's got
hard.
to be
It's
a way
not
to
a tough
turn
No,
this
shot.
down.
it's not a long shot. The Secret Service person had the long shot. He had a triple the
Yeah.
distance actually. So it was a terrible thing. Look,
I think I have to
it's
turn
hard.
Twitter
I
down
have to say
somehow. If I
this
could
about
turn
the
Twitter
Secret
down
Service.
somehow, I
When I
think that'll
went
fix it.
down, and I went down based on I think they're screaming, but other
Oh,
people
okay.
also because people saw this happen. You had so
Maybe they
many
got it jacked up
people.
on their
One of the
end.
miracles was that
Yeah,
nobody
that's
ran.
my
I
issue
mean,
right here. There's no
if a
volume
gun
control.
goes off, the crowd
Yeah.
control people showed us this. When guns go off, and it does happen in stadiums at
I
a
got my
soccer
speakers
match or
down
some
to
kind
like
of a match,
28%.
everybody flees. They call it a stampede, like cattle. But everybody, and a lot of
Yeah.
people get killed with those stampedes. We had
Sure.
more people than you'd have at some of these
I'll
matches
just talk
or
when there's
these
like a break or
games, and
something.
nobody left. You had a small group behind us in the grandstand, and that was full. And
That is
you
true.
look at it as it was taking place, and
Yeah,
normally
that's what I
they'd
was
be
looking for,
running.
volume
They didn't
control on
leave.
the
They
Twitter
saw that
side
I
or
was
X.
hurt. They saw a lot of
If
blood,
you're watching a regular
and they
video,
saw that I went
you can
down.
see.
And it's
You
almost like
can
they
like,
wanted to be with
if
me.
you're
Well,
watching a
out
video on X,
front,
you can
you
lower
had
this the
thousands,
sound
tens of
so it's
thousands
not
of
so
people.
loud.
As far as the eye could see, you had people in Butler, as far as the eye could see, and
Okay.
and uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
and a lot of
imagine you got
press
it on
too.
three
There was
screens, bro.
many cameras on
That
watching
shit would
this.
be
It's
overkill.
what makes it so different because normally things
Yeah, I'm
happen that
sorry it's
aren't
so
good,
loud, man.
but you never
Like I
have
said,
a picture of it.
I've
Here
got
we
my
have all
speakers
these
down to
cameras shooting
28%.
it,
Yeah.
so sort of amazing. But one of the interesting things was that you didn't have anybody flee, you didn't have anybody stampede,
Sure.
nobody. And there were some people behind me. They stood up and they're
I just
looking
think
like
it's cool
I
though,
mean, I'll tell you,
regardless that
you
Yeah.
want to have them in a foxhole
both of
with you.
them
I
are
want to
having a
meet some of those
conversation, man.
people
This is
Sure.
something
because
Sure.
that
it's
needed
so
to happen.
different from what you heard. But so I was down, but the Secret Service
Yeah.
guys, there were bullets flying right over my
Sure
head. You
did,
could
man.
hear them go whizzing,
Yeah.
and these
As long as
guys
me personally, I'm not blasting
came
your ears.
jumping on top of me, and a young lady, Kate, uh,
It was kind of loud. I
would
have
jump.
headphones on,
They
so it was
they
kind of
moved
blaring
so
in my ear.
fast, and let me tell you, that took tremendous courage. Now there was a lack of coordination. There was, obviously everybody understands that somebody that building should have been covered, and
Yeah, I mean,
that was
I
the
think
big
that
thing.
like, I mean, looking at the aerial views, that building would be like the number one spot for a sniper. I mean, it's like the if you were to pick like what is the favorite place, what if you so if the goal is to assassinate, what's your favorite
I'm
spot?
afraid to
That
touch
building,
anything,
the
man,
You're
roof of
because
right.
that
I
building would
want to
be
see
number
what the
one.
chat
That
is
would have been
saying.
the spot.
It's like you can ask for a better
No,
location. It's
27,
like number
no, that
one.
would have been the
70,000
spot.
Um,
chats.
What people think
yeah,
is when the local policeman, who, by the way, he really he did what
I
he was
agree with
supposed to do.
you.
He couldn't hold
I
on
think
any
face to
longer.
face.
And then when he got
yeah,
his head just peeking
Yeah, I
above,
agree with you,
this
man.
guy standing there with a
They
gun
should
at
have
his
done a
head.
face to face
And when he fell
and
down
then just
again,
streamed it.
hurt
It's
his
not like
ankle
you
very
can't
badly, but
stream
he
a
was
live
making the
stream, right?
calls. But what
On
happened is the
Twitter. I know I
firing
have
took
the
place
option here
very
in
soon. So
from
what
Evie
they
yeah,
Mods
think
to
is
do
that this
Twitter
guy
and Rumble.
ran to
Actually,
his
I'm still
site,
trying to figure out Rumble
which he
because I
had
want
all
to
planned
want to be
out
able
with
to
the
go live
gun.
there.
He ran to the site and he started shooting fast, and maybe that's why he sort of missed. I mean, he uh,
yeah. But
he
as you
got
said,
me, but
he
it
would have
could have
hit. If
been
I mean,
a much
yeah.
bigger problem.
He- But he totally would have hit if you hadn't turned your head. So, like there was it was a very near
It
thing.
was a
So,
miracle. If I hadn't
um,
turned my head,
yeah,
I would not be talking to you right now. As much as I like you,
exactly.
I would not.
Yeah,
I would
well,
not be talking to you.
maybe talking to me from another realm, perhaps.
Yeah, that's
Um,
right. We'd be talking from a
so
different place. But it was a very terrible experience. The Butler Hospital, they did such a great job. The doctors were so good. Everybody was so good. There was a mistake if somebody knew, because people were hearing that, there was just a bad feeling that there was somebody was around. You know that
Yeah,
story now. It's been
I've heard her
pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
complain about
And
that.
yeah,
if somebody could have
Uh,
said, because they've oftentimes said,
Jeremy
like
complains
there'd
about it a
be a
lot too.
lightning
DD
storm or something.
Cobra,
Because
he
I've
bitches
done,
about it too.
I think, over
He
300. I
thinks
think
the
I did
system
a lot
sucks,
more than
but
that. But
I get it.
we did a lot. And oftentimes they'll say, sir,
It's
could you
free
wait 10
speech over
minutes,
there.
please? Sir, could you wait 20 minutes? There's a storm overhead or lightning or something, right? And
yeah,
that happens
yeah,
often. And this would have been a perfect time for that to have happened. But
yeah.
it didn't get coordinated. That was the
But I know
problem.
I can live stream to
Well, it
X
was your
from
I
this
think
streaming
your actions
app.
in
So
the heat of
they should have done
fire,
face to
and
face.
like what I found admirable there was that you can't fake bravery under such circumstances. The courage is instinctual or it is not. It's not a rehearsed action. And so I just want to say that I think a lot of people admire your courage under fire there. And
Well,
yeah, so
thank you very
yeah,
much. I appreciate it. I didn't think of it. I just wanted to get up and I wanted to stand up. I wanted to let people know, I felt I was good when they were on top of me, covering me, actually, very much covering me, and very bravely. But I wanted to get up. I said, I want to get up. And they wanted, they have everything there. They wanted stretcher. I didn't like the stretcher. And I knew I was hit in the ear, but I knew I wasn't hit anywhere else. They felt I was hit someplace else
yeah,
because it was such a lot of blood, and they were sure that I was hit someplace else. And they were saying, "Sir,
I thought he got hit
you
somewhere
were
else
hitting
too.
more than the ear." I said, "Nope, I was hit in the ear. I want to get up. Let me get up." And so I got up, and the crowd didn't know what to think. I mean, this was so many people, and you could see they were confused. They didn't know what to think, and I wanted to let them know I was okay. It was
He's
very
kind of
important for me to let them
yeah,
know
he
that.
talked about
And
this
they
at the
went wild.
convention,
You've seen the after. They
but
didn't
this is like
go
the
wild
first
when I
yeah,
time
got
he's
up
been
because
able
they didn't
to
know, was I
just kind of
alive. You really couldn't
let it
tell when
out
I
on a
stood up
normal and not having to
before
be
the hand, before the
political and just
the
kind of
fist in the
discuss
air.
what happened to him.
Uh, they didn't know if I was alive. Nobody did. And when I put the fist up, they were just relieved and happy and thrilled, and the place went crazy. It was pretty
yeah.
amazing. It was a
Well,
terrible thing, but it
it
was
was
really nice.
incredibly moving. Yeah.
Again,
Um,
man,
well,
I appreciate you
and I mean,
hanging with
speaking
me
of
tonight.
the
Uh,
the sort
gives
of
me
slide
hope,
that got you
man.
to turn that
And maybe someday I can
saved your
have some
life,
people who
really,
can just light up the
was
chat
the
and we
illegal
can laugh
immigration
about shit
Right.
slide. Maybe
listening
this
to this type of
maybe
stuff
this
and
is worth
some of the
talking
other things
about that,
It
I
since
was. It
do.
was.
that slide
You're
saved your
right.
life,
No,
basically.
the illegal immigration saved my life. You're right, but
I
it was.
mean, it was kind of
I had to be at
That's
that
bullshit
the
shit in
exact angle.
Tug's
I mean,
thing
that's a
because
great one. Saved by
in the
illegal
Discord
immigration.
because
The
like
Oh
incredible
shit.
thing though, when you talk about the odds, you had to be
yeah, they
exactly at
definitely
that
fucking
angle.
denied that it even
But
happened.
the
Trying to say I
incredible
Yeah.
got hit
thing
by the
is that the
glass
chart I
shards from
used
the
it less than
teleprompters.
20% of the time.
But
It was just a
yeah, I
moment.
was
Yeah.
kind of
It's always on my
when I
left, never
posted
my
this
right, and
on
it's
her
always at
Discord,
the end
because
of the
like she
speech.
has gamers and stuff
So
like that, and
here
Yeah.
we
I
have
don't
it.
want to
It's on
offend
the right,
anybody, and I don't want to
not the
mess with
left. It's at
her
the
people,
beginning, not the end. And even the
But it's
people
good to
that put
see
it up,
that
they were
she's
unprepared,
got
and
some.
they did a great job. They got it up
I mean, she's
immediately,
got some strong
fortunately.
values too,
But
so
I
some
looked to the
strong
right,
opinions
and the
about
bullet
things.
and the
One of the
bullet
other reasons I love
came
her so much.
whizzing by, hitting my ear. So it was
But I
amazing. But
appreciate you
when you
coming
think
through,
of the
man.
odds of that,
You definitely
and
came
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
You helped
that
me
that
figure out my audio a little bit.
normally you wouldn't use it.
Uh,
Normally I wouldn't have the thing, and then
I
it
just
would
Yeah.
have been a very
appreciate that.
different
Just
story.
want to let you know.
It's
Told you I'm a
very
humble
much.
dude, so I
I
appreciate you.
I say an act of God. It's a miracle that it happened, and
Definitely an act of
I'm
God.
Sure.
honored by it. I'm
God was
honored
willing,
by it.
Well,
holding
well,
on to him.
what were you about to say about illegal immigration before you were rudely interrupted with a
Well, I was
bullet?
going to say how good the numbers were. By the way, we're going back to Butler, and we're going to go
Great.
back in October. We're all set up, and the people are fantastic in Butler. It's a great
Oh, that's
area.
gonna be fucking
Great. These are
huge.
incredible
Going back to
people.
Butler, Pennsylvania.
Like the three that, in the case of Corey killed, and the other
Okay.
two, the families are. I got to know them a little bit, and the families are great. But we're going back to Butler.
Now, is it you think it's
And
me,
I
like
think I'll
too loud?
probably
Because like you
start
said
by
on D,
saying,
I mean, I can lower
as I
my
was saying,
thing too. Hang on.
As you were
prior to
saying,
being so
so
horribly interrupted.
yeah,
Let
But
me know how that sounds.
yeah. So rudely interrupted by an
yeah,
assassination
so I was,
attempt.
but no, but the chart,
Some people have no manners.
Elon, the chart was just a chart that in my last week, we had the best illegal immigration numbers, meaning stopping, it was at the lowest. You've seen the chart; it's become quite a famous
Yeah,
chart.
yeah,
But that was the lowest
yeah.
point ever recorded. It was a really,
I drive through
I mean, I was
Pennsylvania on
very
my way to
proud of
North
those numbers.
Carolina
And
every
then you
time I
see
go to
what
see my
happened with
family.
these people,
I'm not too far
Kamala
from
and
Pennsylvania
Joe.
either. I
You
live
see
about
what
5 minutes from
happened.
Jersey.
They just let it go. I had remain in Mexico policies. I had all these different policies that was so good. Uh,
Takes me when I'm
Guys
driving
like
about an
Tom
hour
Homan
and a
and
half.
Brandon Judd
It's
from
about right.
Border Patrol.
About an hour and a
All
half
these are all people that
to get
they've
to
been on
Pennsylvania.
television. They says the best numbers we've ever had. We had so many different checks, catch and release in Mexico, not the United. We had catch and release in the United States. We had it
I
in
lowered my
Mexico. We had
mic. How's that
so many
sound?
things. We had things where if people, many people come in there, they have contagious diseases. We had everything passed. If you have a contagious disease, I'm sorry, but we cannot allow you into the country. So we were setting
Yeah,
literally records, and I all I was doing is showing that, and I use it sometimes,
sure.
and in this case, I'm glad I
Lovely
used it.
Zia.
I
Good
can tell
Lord.
you that, but they were fantastic numbers. But I'm going to sleep with that chart always. I'll be sleeping with that chart. That chart was
Zia. Good
very
Lord.
important for a lot of reasons.
Well, I mean, would it be accurate to say that you're supportive of legal immigration, but that but we also need to shut
When you
down
say blend
illegal
in too much,
immigration,
what do you mean?
and especially unvetted illegal
Yes,
Just so I
immigration,
can
because
understand that
and,
and
and
try to
and
fix
that's
it.
not the same as saying that everyone who's an illegal immigrant is bad. In fact, I think most people who are illegal
It's
immigrants
on
are actually
illegal
good,
immigration
but
right
you
now, by
can't
the way.
tell a difference unless there's a solid vetting of who comes across the border. Does that accurately
100%.
represent your position?
I say it
Okay.
very simply. They have to come in legally. They have to be checked
Yeah.
because look, Kamala was the border czar. Now she's denying it. Everything that I do, she's
Yeah.
saying she was strong on the border. We're going to be strong. Well, she doesn't have to say it. She could close it up right now. They could do things right now. It's horrible. Uh, no tax on tips, and all of a sudden she's making a speech and there will be no
And he's
tax
talking
on tips.
about
I said that months ago. And by the way,
how she
they had
stole his
just the
shit.
opposite.
No
You know,
tax on
they had
tips.
not only tax
When
on
she was
tips,
responsible for
but
the
they
vote in the
hired
Senate
88,000 IRS agents,
to give the
and many
IRS
of them were
the
assigned to
authority
go
to
get waitresses
track
and caddies and all of this
tips,
on tips. They have a policy. They had a policy that they were really going to go after you and were
all
really
right, brother.
harassing people horribly. And then all of a sudden, for politics, she says, she comes out with what I said, which I think is terrible, and I think it's also hitting them very hard. These people are fake. Now they're also saying they did a good job on the border. We had the worst numbers in the history of the world, not of our country. There's never been a country in history that has had a catastrophe like this. We've had, I believe, and I think you believe this too. You hear 12
Yeah.
million, 13. I believe it's over 20 million people came into our country,
Yeah.
many coming from jails, from prisons, from mental
She's
institutions,
definitely the
or
border czar.
a bigger version of that is
Yeah.
insane asylums, and many are terrorists. And I'll tell you what, they're coming
He's
not
getting
just from
into the
South America, they're coming from Africa, they're
terrorists
coming
coming
from all
through
over
and
the world. They're coming from Asia, they're
Yeah.
coming from the
from the
Middle
Latin
East,
American
they're
countries,
coming
them
from
dumping their
countries that
jails.
are uh,
Same thing the Cubans did to us in
stupidly and
the late
horribly
70s, early 80s.
bombing Israel October 7th.
Fidel
They're
Castro did.
coming from all over the
Venezuela's
world.
done the same thing.
And you look at it's so sad October 7th because it should have never happened.
Yeah.
It's so sad when
Sure.
you look at Ukraine. It should have never happened. We have a defective
Yeah.
government. These are defective people, and they're not people that should be running it. But where you see it the best is the border, because you have millions of people coming in a month, and then she gets up and she tries to pretend like she's going to do something. She had 3.5 years. And by the way, they have another 5 months that they can do something, but they
Yeah.
won't do anything. It's all talk. She's
No.
incompetent and he's incompetent. And frankly, I think that she's more incompetent than he is. And that's saying something because he's not too good.
Yeah. No, I think it is essential to have a secure border. I mean, you're really not a country unless you have a
Correct.
secure border. And
And
uh,
secure
For
elections.
you
sure.
know,
And we need our
yeah,
elections
absolutely
to be
secure elections. And
secure.
so it's just essential to have a real border,
Did you
or
pick up a
we
brew,
can't
man, or you
function as
just
a
like
country, and our service, our central
you
services
crack
are
a
being
cold one?
overwhelmed in a lot of cities. Um, As we were talking about earlier, I
That's what
think
I should have did. I should have cracked the
having
cold one for this one.
a legal immigration
So I feel like I'm hanging
process
with them.
that is smooth and efficient and done well, and speaking as someone who is a legal immigrant, and I think like one way to think of it is, who do you want on your team? Um, who do you want on Team America? And I think we want to just say, okay, we want to let in people who are gonna, be great contributors to our society and to our economy,
Right.
and who do you want on the team? And it's not to say that, like
Definitely.
in my opinion, actually,
She
I'd say
is
like
like,
probably most of the illegal immigrants actually
oh, so fucked if she gets
are
elected.
actually
The
good,
American
hardworking people.
electorate
That's
is
my
so
opinion.
fucking stupid.
Um, but some are not, and
Not all of us,
and
obviously,
and you
but
just have this sort of
this
adverse
emotional
selection
voting that has been
process
going on
where,
for decades,
if
voting for
somebody's
people that you like,
if somebody's like
because you like them and oh, you think
you
they're
know
nice and everything.
uh, has a career in
Shit's got to
theft or
change.
robbery,
We're
I
headed to a
don't
really
understand
dark
what's
place
taken them so long to
very, very
get
quick.
here, because we're such a target-rich environment. Um, I mean, why aren't more people who have a career in, bad things coming here sooner? Because it's a piece of cake to go rob, houses in LA or New York, compared to other parts of the world. And
Talking about the
and
crime
and
now.
in a lot of places in America, if you try to stop the person who's robbing you, you'll be
Yeah.
arrested.
Yeah.
If she
You
gets
know,
So
selected,
it's insane.
it's right.
she's
I
already
mean,
been selected,
what's
right?
happening with
Like
crime,
they
and our police are so good, but they're not allowed
undemocratically
to do
anointed
their
her
job. But I have to
as the
tell you,
Democrat
Elon, I
They're
hate
not.
to
nominee
say it because it's such a downer to
because
say it. I
she
hate to
wasn't in the
say it.
primaries. She didn't get
I
one
hate it.
election.
But uh,
If you're a
you
Democrat,
have a lot of
you
people
should be
that
so
just shouldn't
pissed
be. I think it's a much
because you
bigger
didn't
number
vote for
than
her.
you
You
think.
hated her
They're
prior to
I
allowing,
this.
think you're
again,
right.
they're
Yeah.
allowing people from their jails. And if you were running one of these countries where they're coming from, you would have had all of them. As an example, Venezuela, their crime is down 72%. They're taking their drug dealers. They're taking, frankly, their prisoners. They're emptying out their
Telling you
prisons.
exactly what
They're
Venezuela's
taking
doing. The same
their
thing that
criminals, their
Fidel
murderers,
Castro did.
their
Maduro is doing the
rapists,
same
and
thing.
they're
Yeah.
delivering them into
But
the.
that's what Castro did.
Yeah,
That,
well, he did on a much smaller scale.
They
yeah.
You know,
just
it was
said
a
that.
much smaller
Yeah.
scale. But this is a massive scale because this is being done
They
worldwide.
did.
But here's what's happening:
They're like
crime
sheep. They
all over the
just,
world is down. And
you
wait
think
till
they
you
would be
see the
pissed, but they're
numbers that
not.
we have. You know, this is migrant crime. This is crime that's going to be.
Yeah.
And I saw it today in New
They
York where
just talked
somebody
about
was knifed,
Fidel Castro,
where
what I was
they
saying.
raped the girlfriend of a man that stood there watching in New York in one of the shelters and started
Sure.
pulling out the knives,
I
and
just saw that.
bad things happened today. But this is happening every day. These are rough
On
people.
Coney
These
Island
are
here in
people
New
that are in
York.
jail for
Yeah.
murder and all sorts of things, and they're
Some illegal
releasing them
immigrants
into
just
our
raped
country,
somebody
and they're
down at the
telling them,
beach.
if you
Well,
come
actually, I
back,
don't
we're
know.
going to
Let
kill
me
you. We're going to
rephrase
give
that.
you
I
the
don't know if
death
it's at the
penalty or
beach,
kill
but in
you.
Coney Island.
So they don't want to come back. But these are rough people.
Yeah.
These are criminals that make our criminals look like nice people, and it's horrible what they're doing. And she's in charge of it because now she's trying to say she
Sure.
had nothing to do with it, and she's such a liar because she was called the border czar the first day, and it was on the
You think he's
headlines of
gonna
every
take
newspaper.
questions?
She's the border czar, and she
Like you're gonna
never
do
even
that
went there.
ask
She
thing?
went to one location which had nothing to do with where the problem is. She went in and out, I
Right.
guess, because she was getting a lot of pressure,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
had nothing to do where the problem
Yeah.
is. But she was
Well.
the
Well.
border czar, and the people
Yeah. Yeah.
can't allow them to get away with their disinformation campaign. Now she's trying to say that she wasn't. She wasn't really involved, and the whole thing is
Definitely
horrible.
trying to
She
distance
was
herself.
totally in charge. She could have shut the border down
But
without
the
him. He
internet
didn't
is
know what he was
forever.
doing anyways. He wouldn't have even
The whole
known
Yeah.
what
time she was
happened.
called the border
You could
czar.
shut
You
the
can see
border
it on
down.
the
He wouldn't
Yeah.
internet.
even know the difference. But the
They can't
fact
scrub
is
that
that
shit.
she was border czar. But if you don't have to call her
Yes.
that, the fact is you could just call her. She was in charge of the border, and the border was the worst
Right.
ever.
It's simply not working.
No,
It's
it's
I mean,
horrible.
whether it's a question of intention or competence, either way, we don't have a secure border, and we have
Definitely.
people streaming over like it looks like a World War Z zombie apocalypse at times. And sometimes you got to sort of wonder, like, is it real or not? So because you see things, you're like, is it real? I went
Yeah,
to the border at
she
Eagle
can't
Pass,
whitewash
and I
that.
saw for
No pun
myself in
intended.
Texas, and I was like, okay,
She
it's
definitely
real.
can't
I'm
whitewash
like
that
seeing this
shit.
in real time. I actually posted the video like just live. I just I just flew there one day and just to see, hey,
Twitter or X won't let
is
her get
this
away with
made
that
up
shit.
or real? And I'm just seeing people stream across the border, and I have to say, at least the people that I saw did not look friendly. So
These are
people
people.
can look at my video and say, hey,
Yeah.
does these people look friendly? I don't look super friendly. So
These are people that
um,
Elon would not be the same man if he had to walk across the street and look these people in the eye. These are rough people. These are really rough people coming across. And I know rough people. And these are people that we don't want in our country. And the caravans are coming in and they're putting and who's doing this are the heads of the countries. And you would be doing
yeah,
it, and so would I.
It's
And
not
everyone would
just
say,
the
oh,
heads
what
of
a
the country,
terrible
by
thing
the
to
way.
say. The
The
fact is, it's
NGOs
brilliant for them because
here
they're
in this
taking all
country
of their
uh,
bad people,
are
really bad
dumping a
people.
lot of
And
money
I
into
hate to
getting
say
illegal
this,
immigrants into this
the
country.
reason
That
the
is a
numbers
huge
are
problem that needs to
much
get
bigger than you
rectified
would think is
immediately.
they're also taking their non-productive people.
They
Now,
need to
these
get
aren't
their
people that will kill you. We have enough
nonprofit.
of them. But these are
They got
people
that
that are
nonprofit status.
non-productive.
They need to get
They
that shit
they
ripped
are
away
just
from them
non-productive. I mean,
for
for
what they're
whatever
doing for
reason, they're
breaking
not
the
yeah,
law.
yeah,
workers or they don't want to work or whatever. And these countries are getting rid of non-productive people in the caravans in many cases, and they're also
Yep,
getting
taxpayer
rid of
funded. You're
their
absolutely
murderers
correct,
and their
man.
drug dealers and the people that are
yeah,
really brutal people.
Yeah,
And
man. You
they're
hit that
coming
shit
into
right
our
on
country
the
yeah.
at
nail. It's
levels that have never been
definitely
seen
taxpayer
before.
funded.
And I saw an ad just before I got on the air. I'm walking over here, and I saw an ad by Kamala saying how she is going to provide border security. Where has she been for
Did you
three
see
and a
her
half years? For
tweet
3.5
earlier
years,
Yeah,
today?
no, no.
we have 20 million people
This I
poured
think is
in. It's a terrible
yeah. I
thing.
think this, frankly,
That she's gonna
I
fix
think this is a
everything, even though she
fundamental
was in power.
existential issue for the United States. And if we have another 4 more
Looks like someone
years
else joined us. I can
of
see.
open
Hey, if
borders,
you're
and
out
it's
there,
going to be
drop a
even
comment, say
worse
hello.
with another 4 more years, it's going to be even worse than it's been for the past 3.5 years. I'm not sure we've got a country
You don't have
left
a country
at that
left.
point.
Elon, if they get in, you will have 50 to 60 million people from all over the world, not South America only. We think of
We're
South
probably at about,
America, we think of
I
Honduras
want
and
to
El
say about
Salvador,
40 million right now,
Guatemala, and
and this is
Mexico,
going back to the
the four.
1990s.
But it's not
Okay,
that.
so
It's
because that number 10
everywhere. They're
million has
coming in
been
from
going on
Yeah,
since I was in
everywhere.
my fucking
And I had to
20s.
stay in
yeah. I think
10
Mexico.
this
million,
is
10
a
million.
super
We're
important
Yeah.
point.
easily
Like
at about
people, it's like
40, 50
basically
million
when I went
illegals
down
in
there, I
this
was like, well, where
country.
are people from?
Easy.
It's like almost no one was from Mexico. To be
No,
clear,
Mexico
it's
less
just
less
it's
than
just the
the others.
border. It's just the border with
I've been
Mexico. But
telling
the
people
people
that
coming in,
too. It's not a
it's
Mexico thing
Earth,
anymore.
the rest of Earth.
Stopped being about Mexicans
and
a
and
long time
America
ago.
is only about 4 or 5% of the population of Earth. It would only take a few percent of the rest of Earth to overwhelm everything in the
We're
U.S.
already
So
overwhelmed, Elon. We're overwhelmed. You had to see the news tonight about New York. New York, and I love that place, and what they're doing to it is horrible, what they're doing to it. And all the courts do is they
yeah,
try and focus
Yeah,
on Trump. Okay, then let's focus on Trump,
that has been by
who did
design
nothing wrong.
for
I complain about
decades
a
now.
rigged election. Elon, what's happened is unbelievable. You
If
have
the states
from
don't fix their
Africa,
shit,
from the
it's
Congo,
bound to
they're
happen. I
coming, from the
mean,
Congo.
I've already
And
did
22
I
people
did a
came
couple of
in from the
videos already
Congo
on that,
recently, and they're
signing up
murderers, and
illegal
they're dropped
immigrants
them.
at
They
welfare
they drop
offices
them. They
and
take them out of
DMVs
jail,
and stuff like
which
that.
is very expensive, to maintain the jails. Although they don't do too much maintaining, I
Of
can
course, I
tell you.
got hate
But
for
they
that
take
too.
them out of jails, prisons. They take them out and they bring them to the United States. They deposit them in the United States and say, "Don't ever come back, or you're going to be executed." And they don't want to come back, but they won't come back.
sure.
But they're coming from Africa. They're coming from Asia. They're coming from the Middle East. They're coming from South
Well,
America.
just
They're
Earth,
coming from
rest of Earth,
everywhere.
basically.
And there are a lot of
Yeah,
really
everywhere on
bad
Earth.
ones.
It's just a it's just an everywhere on Earth thing, and it's just not possible for the United States to absorb everyone from Earth, or even a few percent of the rest of Earth. It's just not possible.
Well,
No
So
Elon,
country
we're
should
going
be
to
doing
have
it. All we have to do is take a
that's
look
just
at
to
yeah,
finish
what's
this
going
up,
on in
we're going to
Europe right
have
now.
the largest
Fucking
deportation in
our
history
cousins in Great
of this
Britain
country. And we have no choice. Otherwise,
Great
we're going to
Britain
have
is
a
falling.
country, what they've done to our country. Think of it, with in Venezuela and in some of these other countries, crime is down 50, 60, 70, 80%.
It's because all
And
their
you would be
criminals are
the
here.
same. You would have.
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
tell you what, Venezuela has not gotten rid of all of them. They've gotten rid of about 70% of their really bad people. Their jails are about 50% uh, put into the United States. Same with other countries. Some
sure,
are 30%, some are at 50%. They're all different. But the bottom line is they're all going to be at 100%. Why wouldn't you put 100% of?
yeah,
And they're doing it right now. while this
Can't
third-rate
do it.
phony candidate, don't forget, I beat
The great
Biden.
Milton Friedman, man.
He failed in the debate
I
miserably,
wish we were listening
and
to him.
some people
Well,
said, "Oh, gee, it's
some
too
of us
bad.
have
It's too
continued to
bad he
listen
did
to
so
his
badly," or
lessons
"I did well in
and
the
take
debate."
them to
The
heart.
first
But
night they said, "Wow." One of the
we're in a
people at
bad,
CNN
bad
said that
spot.
was the greatest debate performance I've ever witnessed.
We're in a
And
terrible,
then two
terrible
days later,
place
they didn't
right
talk
now.
about that. They just said he was bad. But that's
But like
okay.
I
That's
said
the way I
earlier,
get
that
treated,
number
and I
10
don't mind
million
that
has
at
been
all.
going on for a
What I
long
can tell
time.
you is this:
It's more like
we
about
cannot have a
50 to
Democrat. We
60
cannot
million.
have her. She's incompetent. She's as bad as Biden in a
It's
different. Look,
yeah.
she hasn't done an
I mean,
interview since this
yeah.
whole scam started.
Well,
And say what you want, this
yeah.
was a coup. This was a coup of a president of the United States. He didn't want to leave, and they said we can do it the nice
Yeah.
way or we can do it the
No.
hard way.
Yeah. Not,
Yeah.
I mean, they just took him out back behind the shed and basically shot him.
Oh, what they did
But
with this
Holy
guy,
so
shit.
and I'm no
yeah.
fan of his, and he was a horrible president, the worst president in history. And one of the reasons he
Yeah.
was so bad, first of all, the Israeli attack would
You
have
know who's
never
good to
happened.
listen to?
Russia would never have
Thomas
attacked
Sowell,
Ukraine,
too.
and
I
we'd
like
have no
listening to him.
inflation, and we wouldn't have had the
He went from being
Afghanistan
like a
mess, if you think
communist
of it,
to
Well,
complete.
and we wouldn't have had
yeah.
Afghanistan. But we think of it,
Well, yeah.
I
you
know he's
take a
labeled as
few
a
of those
libertarian,
events
but
away, and we have a different world. We would
now
also have
No,
no
he
no,
was like
you're
a straight communist.
yeah.
inflation was caused by oil.
Woke the fuck up.
Yeah. No. I think you're making an excellent point here, which is that um, they would they rightfully be. I mean, look at the
That
footage of the
sucked.
assassination. They're like, okay,
Sorry
you know,
about that.
uh, President Trump is like, don't mess with me. I mean, that's like, whereas I think people
Lost
are
my
not
feed
going to
there.
be, and they obviously have not been at all intimidated
No,
by
that
Biden,
definitely was
and they
not
certainly will
supposed
not be
to
intimidated
happen.
by Kamala. And you have to really think of that in the context of
It's fucking
global
pilot error,
security.
bro.
That's
Yeah, you know what it is? I got this
that
fucking
if the
sensitive
American president
mouse,
is someone
and it
someone
just like I
that
have to fix the
like
buttons on him.
evil dictators are scared
Fortunately,
of,
you know,
that
since
makes a
I'm aware of
huge
it,
difference
I was
to
able
the
to get it back
security of
up.
the world.
So I had a good relationship with Putin, despite the Russia hoax that lasted for over 2 years. Just a hoax created by Hillary Clinton and Adam Shifty Schiff,
Let me know
some
if I get
just bad
choppy. That's
people,
what happened
just
last time.
sick people, frankly. I mean, Schiff is a sick person. He's going to end up probably being a senator. It's hard to believe. The whole thing is hard to believe. But,
Well,
they
Schiff
put
is
our
from
country in
pencil
danger
neck.
with
Schiff
that
is from
stuff, too. They
California. That
actually, when
fucking
they make up
scumbag. So of
stories,
course they're
and
gonna
you have
vote him
to
in.
fight your way out of it for a long time. But I know Putin very well. I got along with him very well.
Yeah, I
He
know.
respected me, and it's
Uh,
just one of those things. And
I love Tugs.
we would
I
talk a
love her
lot about
streams.
Ukraine. It was the apple of his eye. But I said, don't ever do it. Don't ever do
She's
it.
such a good
I
person.
shut down Nord Stream 2. That was the big oil pipeline, the biggest, I think, the biggest pipeline in the world going all over Europe. I shut it down.
He did shut it
Biden
down.
came, and then they say
Yeah,
I loved Russia. I was a friend of Putin, and I loved Russia. No,
He
he
had our
actually said to me one
allies
time. He
get
said, "If
really
you're
to
my friend,
get
I'd hate to see
buying
you as
natural
an
gas
enemy." I
from
shut
us and
down his
whatnot.
pipeline, the biggest pipeline. They were looking at that to
yeah,
fund, and this pathetic president gets in there, and the first thing he did, one of the early things he did, is he shut down. He shut down Keystone XL
Yeah,
pipeline, which is our pipeline
I'm
that
gonna
would have
get a
employed
PC when
48,000
I'm not
people,
staying in my
pipeline
area. I'm
workers,
moving like in the
shuts it
next
down.
month or two,
That
next
was,
2 months really.
a massive
And
job that
when I get to my new
Obama
place, I'm
refused to
gonna go ahead
allow.
and
yeah,
I
see if I
allowed
can
it in my first
do all my
week
stuff with a
because it was
PC
jobs and it
and then
moved
just use
oil.
my
And by the
laptop
way,
when I
in a
travel.
much more environmentally friendly way. It's
Because right now I'm
underground.
on
It's not a
a
truck that
gaming
catches on
laptop that I
fire
got
or
for
a train that catches on
Christmas.
fire.
That's
But
fantastic,
think of it.
actually.
He
Got
shut
a shit
down
ton of
the
games on it.
uh, XL
I'm
pipeline,
thinking about doing
the
a gaming
Keystone
thing, but I
XL
don't know.
pipeline. He
yeah,
I'm
shuts
probably
that
YouTube's
down,
worst gamer.
and he approves the Russian pipeline,
yeah. It doesn't make any
right?
sense. It's like it's inconsistent. Um, Certainly but I mean, I think it's just worth
But I see we're not
emphasizing,
alone,
to listeners
Jonathan.
the
Somebody's here
that
with us, and
immense importance of whether the United States
you should
president
say
is
hi.
intimidating or not intimidating, and how much that matters to global security. Because there's some real tough characters out there, and if they don't think the American president is tough, they will do what they want to
I
do,
know every one of
and
them.
it puts the whole
Yeah.
world in danger.
Elon, I know every one
It's
of
a
them,
big
and I know
deal.
them well. I know
Yeah, I
Putin.
Yeah,
remember
I know
I bet the
President
PC in
Xi. I
the
know Kim Jong Un of North Korea. I know every
early
one of them.
2000s with my
And let me
brother. It was
tell
like
you, people say,
fantastic.
"Oh, this is
So
terrible." He
fast
said,
for the time.
"I'm not saying anything good or bad. They're at
These
the top of
laptops
their
nowadays are
game.
just like
They're tough. They're
fantastic. So,
smart. They're
so I
vicious."
think I'm gonna do the
And they're going to
PC
protect
route.
their country,
I
whether
think
they
that's the
love their
smart way to
country. They
go if I'm gonna
probably do.
continue to
It's
do
just a
this,
different form of love, but they're going to
which I
protect their
am. I'm
country.
not giving up
But
hope
these are
yeah,
because
tough
I
people
love
at the
talking.
top of their game. And when they see a Kamala or when they see Biden, Sleepy Joe, they can't even
yeah,
believe it. They can't believe this happened. All the stuff that you're seeing now, all the horror that you look at Israel,
I don't
they're
blame you,
all
bro.
waiting for an attack
Yeah,
from Iran. Iran
I don't
would
blame
not
you,
be
man.
attacking, believe me. You know, when I was there,
I
and
might have
I
those
say
guys.
it with respect because I think we would have been good with Iran.
A
I don't
couple of
want to do
veterans
anything
that
bad
have
to
is it
Iran, but they
MC
knew
or
not to mess around.
Meta
Iran was
PCs, I think it
broke
is.
because I told China, if you buy from Iran oil, it's all about the
Another
oil.
reason
That's
why
where the
I'm
money
leaving
is.
the area so
But if you buy
I
oil
can
from
take care of
Iran,
my mine
you're
as
not going to
well.
do any business with the United States.
I got one
And
of
I
those
meant
as
it.
well, but
And
because
they
of where
said,
I'm
we'll
at,
yeah,
pass.
yeah.
They didn't buy oil.
haven't even
Other
bothered
countries,
to try.
likewise.
Sure.
You want to
But
buy,
where I'm
you're
headed
not
to,
doing business with the United States. And
I'm
they
definitely
were at a
gonna
point where they had no money for Hamas. They had
load
no
up.
money for Hezbollah. They had no money for any of these instruments of terror. And it was
That's a good
amazing.
addiction to
In
have, by
fact,
the
there were
way.
articles when I was
Fantastic addiction to
leaving,
have.
which is hard to believe, actually, especially when you look at what's happened to our country. Our country is so bad right now. It's such a different place. We were respected. Think of it. 4 years ago, we were so
Yeah,
respected
I saw them
to a
watching
point
Narcotic,
where
and
when I
I
said
think
don't
Geeks
buy
and
oil,
Gamer
they didn't buy oil, but they had no
has a
money
Yeah, yeah.
PC they
and
made for
Israel
them
would have
too.
never been attacked. Zero chance. And
But I
again, I
think
said
Meta
to
PCs,
Vladimir
I think
Putin,
they're
I said, don't
veterans,
do it. You
which is
can't
why I
do it,
want to.
Vladimir. You do it,
I'd rather
it's
give
going to
my
be a
money to them.
bad day. You
Plus,
cannot
like you
do it.
said,
And
they
I
sponsor
told him things that what
Neurotic
I
and whatnot,
do.
so I know they're good
And he
people
said, no
and they
way.
make a
And
great
I said,
product.
way. And you know, it's the last time we ever had the conversation. He would never have done. I got along well with him. I hope to get
So
along
he's talking
well with
about
him
when he
again.
was
You know,
president,
getting
how
along well with them
nobody
is a
fucked with
good
him
thing, not a bad thing. I got along well
and how
with
he got
Kim
Yeah.
along
Jong
with
Un
everybody.
when I
There's
met
nothing wrong
with
with that.
President Obama just before entering. You know, it's a sort of a ritual. And I sat down with him and we talked. It was supposed to be for a very short period of time. It turned out to be a long period of time. I said, "What's the biggest problem?" He said, "North Korea." I had that problem worked out very quickly. It was nasty at the beginning with Rocket Man and all the different things,
Yeah.
but all of a sudden I got a call. Oh,
Those were some epic tweets, by the way.
yeah, they
Those
were
were
no,
like
they were epic.
absolutely.
Everything he said that he has a
I-
red button on his desk. I said, I
Yeah,
have
I'm
a
a little
red button
choppy. It
on my
looks like my
desk too, but
signal
my
is
red
dropping.
button is much bigger, and
I
my
can see
red
on my
button
end my
works.
signal,
And then I called him Little
yeah,
my
Rocket
camera at
Man of
least.
Little Rocket Man.
My signal
Anyway,
seems to be
here's the
okay.
bottom line. All of a sudden I got a call from him and they said they want to meet. They want to meet me. And we met,
yeah,
as you remember, we met in Singapore. We met also in Vietnam. And I got along with them great. We were
yeah.
in no
Everything was
danger.
definitely
But
epic in your
President
end.
Obama,
It's
President
because
Obama thought
they
we were going
respond.
to end up in a
Yeah,
war, a nuclear war with him. And let me tell you, he's
yeah.
got a
It's not
lot of
true.
nuclear
Yeah,
stuff too. He's
exactly.
got plenty of nuclear.
It's
He can do plenty of damage.
it's
So
yes. I
Yeah,
mean,
he
it's
wouldn't have been
because
able to do that
I mean,
damage if
people
fucking Clinton didn't give that
Kim
technology
Jong
to
Un, they
the
respond to
Chinese
yeah.
strength,
in the
not
1990s,
weakness.
Well,
who passed it on to the
And
North Koreans.
he and I
if you
he and I
project
had a good
strength, they
relationship.
you're good.
Remember,
People
I
forget
Yeah,
that
remember I
shit.
met him
China was
and we
decades
walked
behind
onto
us
his land. Nobody ever
technologically.
walked onto his land before.
The
I
Clintons
walked
handed that
onto.
shit
I
over
wouldn't
for
say.
500
yeah,
grand.
Let's
that
bring
was
up
cool.
Secret Service again. I wouldn't say they were thrilled when I did that. I walked onto his land, and it was an amazing period. But we were not in danger with him because of me. I always
Yeah,
say that we have enemies on the outside and we have enemies on the inside. We have some really
Got
bad
more
people
enemies
in
on
our
the inside.
government and people that are and controlling of the people. I mean, I'd mention names, but I really don't want to give them the credit. But we have some really bad, and I say they're more dangerous than Russia and China. If
Yeah,
you have
the
a
deep state is
smart
real.
president, a president that gets it, we are not in danger from those countries because they need us and they need our help. I mean, we forced Obama, if you think about it, Obama
Yep.
and Biden and Bush to a certain extent, in all fairness, forced
Don't even get me started
Russia
on
and China together. And
our
if you're
biggest
a
welfare
history student, the
recipient.
first thing you learn is you cannot let Russia and China align. But then they also got, if you take a look, Iran and they have North Korea.
Did a video on
That's,
that fucker
they
too.
call it the axis of evil. in the old days, you had the axis of evil. Here we have a
He's
modern day
terrified if
axis
Trump
of
gets
evil. These
reelected. He
are
knows that spigot's gonna get
powerful
turned off.
countries, very heavy nuclear, which is the biggest threat.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest threat is not global warming, where the ocean's going to rise
To be fair, we're
one
giving
eighth
him a
of an
lot
inch
about
over the
older
next
shit too.
400 years. And you'll have more oceanfront property, right? The biggest threat is not that. The biggest threat is nuclear warming, because we have 5 countries
Well,
now that
yeah.
have significant nuclear power, and we have to not allow anything to happen with stupid people like Biden. You know, Biden did something with Russia.
You're absolutely
There was
correct,
no chance of him ever going in. And when I left, and then after I left, they started
brother.
forming
You are absolutely
big
correct.
armies on the border with Ukraine, right?
I
And
try to
I
tell
looked at
people that
that,
that
and I thought
you
he
know,
was doing that because Putin's a good
listen, Russia
negotiator. I
isn't
thought he
that
was doing
fucking
that to
great either.
negotiate. But
But
then
it's like
Biden started
two
saying
dudes
such
that are the
stupid
same
things. For
person
instance,
fighting each other right
he
now.
said that
Because he's,
it
Vladimir
can be a NATO
is
country.
that
Now,
he's like fucking
Russia,
Putin light. Everything
for
that
as
Putin
long
did to
as there's
Russia, he's
been
done the
NATO,
same
has
thing in
said we're
Ukraine.
never going to agree to that. And we go right up front and say that. And we
But you're
did
right about
things
that,
and
man.
said things
Russia,
through this president with a low IQ, very low IQ.
although they're kind of
He
getting
had a
more
low IQ
pushback right
30
now.
years ago, by the way, but now he
Ukrainians are
might
pushing
not
a little
even
bit at
have
the
a
Russian.
IQ at all. There's nothing on the board
Not that it's going to
that goes
really
this low.
amount to
He
shit in the
said
end.
things that were so stupid that that war would have been that war had zero chance of happening if I were there. Zero chance. He was saying
Yeah.
everything the opposite. And it's so
Definitely
sad
inflamed it.
because many more
Fucker.
people have been killed in Ukraine than you read about. You don't read about how bloody it is and how disaster. Hey,
Sure.
Yep.
look, just in the 2 armies, you
Just
lost a
and he's
half a
talking about
million
what we're
people.
talking about, brother.
And
Yeah.
you know,
It's
Ukraine's having a hard time. Ukraine, I don't know if you saw
yeah.
the article recently, and it's true. You don't hear the true story, but if you think about it, Russia's gone. You know, Russia
Yep.
defeated Germany with us, and they defeated Napoleon. You know, they've been around a long time. They're a big
That
fighting
is true.
Yeah.
force,
So of
and it's
course.
very
I agree
unfair.
with you.
And Ukraine now
I'm still not
doesn't
worried
have
about
enough
them, but
men. They're now using young
I
men and
agree.
very old men to fight,
They're
and
definitely
we're in a very bad
they're not to
position.
be taken
And
lightly.
I'm not going to blame exclusively, but I can tell you, I could have stopped that, and a smart president could
They
have
can go
stopped that.
on
It wouldn't have
forever.
happened. But we had
Yeah.
a
Free
man
Ukraine. I
that
keep trying to tell
actually
people that. I was like, they're not
it
even
made it
using a
more
tenth of
prevalent.
fucking
It
the
was
shit that they
so
have.
bad. The words that he was using, the stupid threats coming from a stupid face that he was using. I said, this guy's going to cause us a
People
war.
definitely don't
He's going to
realize
cause
that.
us. And let me tell you,
Yeah.
it can
Yeah.
lead to World War
But
III.
we were busy
That can
fighting
lead to
the
World War III. The Middle East can lead to. We have numerous places that could end up in a
Yeah.
World War III right now for no reason
No,
whatsoever.
I think you're right.
yeah,
I think
they
people
did.
underrate the risk of World War III,
I will
and
say
it's just
though,
you know when you're
thankfully
looking at the risk
fucking
of
Reagan
global
bankrupted them.
thermonuclear
They
warfare, it's
couldn't keep
game
up with
over for
us.
humanity,
If we turned
and
on if we
you know
really turned
that's
on
it's something
our
that people have. I think
ability to
after the end
manufacture
of the Cold
in
War,
this
people have
country, there
become
isn't anybody who
complacent
can stop
about, but
us.
they actually have forgotten that there
We proved
are
that shit in World War
currently a
II.
lot of nuclear
It's just a matter of
missiles
turning on a switch, but we refuse to do it
that have targeting parameters for the United States from other
100%.
because we don't
countries.
want to pay
And
people in
one
the
of the things
country.
And
we're going to do is
it's
we're going to
yeah.
build an iron dome over us. You know, Israel has it. We're going to have the best iron dome in the world. We need it, and we're going to make it all in the United States. But we're going to have protection
He's talking about right now
because it
making
just takes
weapons
one
here in the United
maniac
States.
to start something. We're going to have protection, and we're going to have. Why shouldn't we have an iron dome? Israel has one. Some other places
Yeah.
have one that nobody even knows about,
Well,
frankly. But Israel has it. We're going to
it
have an
looks
iron
like
dome.
my feed is
But
going to stop
with all of that
automatically
being
in two
said, to me, that's
seconds.
so important, the most important. But with all of that being said,
Oh,
the
no.
election's coming up, and the
I
people
guess
want
it
to hear about
stopped
the
on.
economy and the fact that they
Absolutely. Sure.
can't buy groceries because they don't have enough money to buy groceries. The inflation has killed them. Food prices are up 50, 60, even
Huh.
100% in some cases. And this stupid
Let me know if you lose my
administration
feed.
allowed this to happen. And it's a shame.
Yeah, that is so
And
true.
that's the thing that people most
We
care
need
about, in
something
my
to knock
opinion.
those
They
out of
care
the
about the
sky,
border a
and that's
lot.
what he's talking
And we
about.
discuss the border at great
Knocking
length. It's
ICBMs
nice
out of
to
the
have a
Yeah.
sky.
Yeah.
forum like this where I can discuss something at length. And by the way, you think Biden could do this interview?
Hey,
Do
can
you
you let
think
me know
that Kamala could do this interview? They would take a pass
if
on
you
No,
lose
they
you.
my
could not.
feed?
So they don't need Elon. They don't need Elon screaming out questions. It's pretty sad when you think that somebody that does this for a living can't answer a question or is afraid to do an interview. And in her case, with a very friendly interview, she's got all friendly interviewers. It's pretty scary.
Yes,
But the
absolutely.
big thing now is the
Well,
economy, Elon.
yeah,
And as much as
yeah,
I mean, I view nuclear as the single most important thing, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't understand that. But it doesn't have to. If I understand it, that's all you need. Because if I was president, you're not going to have that kind of a problem. But the thing that
Okay,
they
it's still going. I
really
thought I lost my
is
feed.
making them angry is what Kamala and Biden have allowed to happen to the economy.
We're
It's
in bad
a
shape.
disaster with inflation. The inflation, it
yeah.
doesn't matter what you make. The
We
inflation is
weren't
eating you alive.
always in
If
bad
you're a
shape, but we're in
worker
bad shape right
or if
now.
you're a
What
just a middle income
what this
person,
administration has
you
managed to
can't
do in
afford. You know,
4 years.
4
Well,
years ago, 5 years
let's
ago,
be
people were
fair.
saving a lot of money.
It goes
Today,
back
they're
to the
using
Clinton
all their
years
money and borrowing money just to live. It's a horrible thing
Right.
that's
and
happening,
Obama didn't help at
and
all.
we'll end that
Well, I think
quickly.
a lot of yeah, a lot of people just don't understand where inflation comes
But
from.
you were correct, man.
Inflation comes from
We're
government overspending because the checks
we
never
should not be
bounce
in the
when it's
state
written by the government.
militarily
So
that we are right now.
if the government
We have the
spends
means to not
far
be.
more than it brings in, that
We're
increases the
choosing to
money
be in the state
supply.
that we're
And
at.
if the money supply increases faster than the rate of goods and services,
That's right.
that's inflation. Um, so
You're
really,
talking
we
about
need to
inflation
have
now.
we need to reduce our government spending, and we need to re-examine. I think we need like a government efficiency commission to say like, hey, where are we spending money that's sensible? Where is it not
Right.
sensible? And we need to live within our means. We're currently adding, I think, $1 trillion to the deficit every roughly
Right.
every 100 days.
That's right.
That
And
was one of my big
the
things
interest
with
payments
Trump
on the
was the
national
deficit
debt
that
have now exceed the defense
he spent a
budget.
lot.
It's on the order of $1 trillion,
It's
I think a lot of
and
that
interest.
has to do with
it keeps
the
Yeah, I
growing.
rebuilt our military,
advisement he
largely
was getting
rebuilt
with
our
the
military,
people
did a great job on
he
it,
had around
which was
him.
so important. You know, we had jets, we had fighters that were, and bombers that were 70 years old. And we did a great job in that. Then we, by the way, then we gave 85 billion of it back to Afghanistan, if you can believe it. We gave them 85
Yeah,
billion. You know, they're one of the largest sellers
Yeah.
of military
I
equipment
didn't
in the
read
world.
that
They're
book.
selling what we gave them.
You just
That
what's the
was
name
one
of
of
the
the
book
most embarrassing days in the history of our country.
so I could put that
But
on my list?
if you think about,
Uh,
let's go back to the economy. We have to bring
we have
energy
to
Yeah.
fix
prices
it,
down.
bro.
Energy
The
started it.
military is not
The
what it should
price
be.
of gasoline.
You're absolutely
Now
correct,
your
man.
cars don't require
You
too
won't get
much
any
gasoline, so
disagreement with
you know
me on that. And
you have
that's
a
me
good
being
and you do make a great
a
product. I have
wartime
to
veteran
say.
and
I
a
have to
combat
be
vet,
honest with
and
you.
Thank
That
you.
doesn't mean
you know,
everybody should have an
try
electric
to
car,
keep up on a lot
but
of
these are
stuff. But
minor
we're just in
details. But
bad shape.
your product is incredible. But the
Thank you.
gasoline, Elon, is the cost of energy. Not only gasoline, it's the cost
We're
of
going
heating
into
your house
energy.
and cooling
It's
your
just been
house.
a nice flow
That has
Sure.
to
between
come
them
down.
two. They should have gotten
It's
together a
gone
long
up
time ago.
100%, 150, and 200%,
I'm
and
gonna look that up.
that has to come down. When that comes
I'll
down,
pick
and we're
that
going
up.
to
I
Yeah.
drill,
appreciate
baby,
that.
drill. You know,
I
they
like to read,
stopped
so I
drilling, and
appreciate that.
then they went back to drilling because they went back to the Trump policy. But if they
They're
won the
flowing
day
pretty good,
after
right?
they get into office, we're going to this country will go out of business because they're going to go to an energy policy that's not sustainable, wind and different things. You're not going to have anything.
Yeah.
And I know you're a big fan of the AI, and I have to say
Yeah.
that AI, and this is shocking to me, but AI requires twice the energy that the country already produces for everything. So you're going to have to build. We're going to have to build a lot of energy if our country will
I'll
be
look that up.
competitive with China, because that's our
I'll
primary
take a look.
competitor for this
It'll
on
definitely
the
be in his
AI.
catalog. I'll
You're
look
going
Sure.
to
that up.
need a lot of
Well, I mean,
electricity. You're going to need tremendous
yeah.
electricity, like almost double what
I
we
don't listen to
produce
him as
now
much
for
as
the
I
whole
used to.
country, if you can believe
I
it.
just really haven't had a chance.
Sure.
And
Well,
he
just
has some
going,
buffoons on there
back to this,
sometimes,
like
but he does have some really good
this
people
basic
as well.
thing, which that people
Um,
try to make it sound complicated, but it's
no,
not. But
definitely, I'll look
inflation is
that up
caused by government
Right.
and
overspending.
check it out. I'm
Would you agree
interested to see
that
what
we
she
need to
says.
take a look at government
Yes.
spending and have perhaps a government efficiency commission that just tries to make the spending sensible and so that the country lives within its means, just like
I
a
like that
The
person
we're
does.
waste
flowing
is incredible,
together.
and nobody
It
negotiates
is.
prices. You used to have a lot of people making jets, and you end up with two companies,
Am I
and they'll
really that
probably
hard
try
to
and
hear?
merge at some point. I
Hang
mean,
on.
I went through it like Air
It
Force,
could be
just
because I'm
a
talking
thing
low
like
too,
Air Force One. One of the
because I
first
was blowing
documents
your
they
ears
asked me
out
to
before.
sign, a general, I said, "Sir, will you please sign this document?" And what is it? Air Force
Can you
One.
hear me a little bit
That's
better
with
now?
Boeing, which is basically two planes, two 747s. and the price was
Yeah.
$5.7 billion for 2 planes. Now they're
Wow.
highly sophisticated.
That's
They're
insane.
even nicer than your plane, okay? But much more sophisticated. They're very. I won't
Yeah,
say
it's
what's
good,
on it,
man.
but they got a lot of stuff on it. Anyway, but it's
Sure.
5.7. I
That's a
Because when
crazy
you
It's a
go to
number.
crazy
five,
number, but I said I'm not
I
going to pay
sometimes
5.7. I'm not
sometimes
going to
put the
do it. I
podcast
said,
on
who
my
made the
TV
deal? Obama
in
and
the
his people.
background.
I said, well,
Occasionally,
then
I
I
put
know
on
the
the
deal's no
Patriot
good. I'm
Network
not
on
going to do it.
Sirius
And
and listen to
over a
some of the
course of
people I like
about
there.
4 weeks, by my saying I'm not going to do it, I got the price reduced by $1.6
I used
billion
to listen
dollars
to
for the exact same plane, other than we had a nicer paint
here in
job,
New
if you
York. It
want to
was
know the truth.
WABC.
But for the exact
Was it
same
that had
plane, I
Rush on
saved
it?
one. And I said to Boeing, man, you guys must make a lot of money if you can reduce the price by that.
I miss
But now
listening
what
to
I
Rush
do
Limbaugh.
hear is that they're going back to the Biden administration and wanting
I
big
think you're
cost
right.
overruns, because they see these dopey suckers in there, and they'll end up getting some of the money back.
I'm
But
trying
I
to
shaved it by $1.6 billion for the exact
I'm
same
trying not
plane.
to go over too
And you
much
can
on
now
them because
take
I want
that
you to be able to
and
hear them.
multiply that out times thousands of other
Exactly.
items. And
Multiply it by
yeah,
a
the
zillion,
numbers are
and yeah, yeah.
astronomical. I agree
I
with
got to
you.
figure that out though, man.
Well, I mean,
Just
if
for my knowledge,
so,
so I can
so I mean, I think it would be great to just have a
tune
government
better.
efficiency commission that takes a look at these things and just ensures
So
that the taxpayer
Elon is
money,
talking about
the taxpayers' hard-earned
essentially a
money, is
commission to
spent
look
in a
into
good way.
our spending in the government.
I'd be happy to help out on such a commission
I'd love
if
it.
it were formed.
Well, you're the greatest cutter. I mean, I look at what you do. You walk in and you just say, "You want to quit?" They go on
Yeah.
strike. I won't mention the name of the company, but they go on strike, and you say, "That's okay. You're all gone. You're all gone." So every one of you is gone, and you are the greatest. You would be very good. Oh, you would love it. But if you look at Argentina.
Well, I'd be happy to
Yeah, by
help
the way,
out.
congratulations. I
Yeah.
just looked at the number of people that are listening to you and I chat. We'll call it a chat. But
Yeah.
congratulations. This is very good. I mean, it's great. And you're an interesting character. The new head of a place called Argentina, and he's a big,
Malay's awesome.
he's great. And
Yeah.
he's a big MAGA fan, that he ran on MAGA,
Oh yeah,
and
uh,
he
the
took it to an
Argentinian president,
extreme too.
man, he
He
went in
ran
there
on
and
MAGA, and
literally
I hear he's doing really a terrific
got rid of
job.
like
It's called Make
95% of the
Argentina
government
Great Again. It worked out perfectly.
jobs,
He came in, he bought a lot
and
of
his
hats, he
country's like
bought everything, but he's
doing
doing a big job.
fantastic now.
He
He's
really cut.
completely turned
And I'm
the
hearing
country
Yeah.
they're
around.
starting to do pretty well. Inflation's getting down. They had like
Yes. Exactly.
2,000%. They had inflation like not normal inflation. They had the real deal. But we're going to
Yeah.
have that pretty soon. We have. I think we
Yeah.
have the worst inflation we've had in 100 years. They say it's 48 years. I don't believe it. I think we have the worst. They
Yeah.
don't include a lot of the items that should be included. You know.
Yeah.
Inflation has
Well,
just been hanging
it's just
around. That's the
from
problem.
government overspending and not spending taxpayer money
Yeah.
effectively,
Oh God,
and
yes,
having
man.
just like
You
so many
put that
departments,
up so
you can't even
people.
name them all.
Yeah, bro.
And what
Most
Malay
companies
is
are definitely
doing
bloated. Yeah,
is
HR departments and middle
he's
management.
cutting government spending. He's
There's a lot of
simplifying things.
redundancy.
He's having putting in regulations that make sense.
Yeah,
And
these
I
for sure.
and we're Argentina
Although there has been
overnight is experiencing a
some
giant improvement
That's
pushback,
in
right.
prosperity.
and
But
companies are
it's
starting to
also a
get rid of.
lesson
They're
for the
losing
United
so much money
States,
with
which
that
is that
DEI bullshit that
um,
they're they get
Argentina
rid of their
used to be one of the
departments.
most prosperous countries in the world. Um,
That's right.
in the like in the 30s, 40s, and because of bad government policy, it ruined the country. And if you take Venezuela, for example, Venezuela should be incredibly prosperous. They have phenomenal reserves of
Hey,
everything,
bro,
oil,
I
everything,
got a lot of
and
DEI.
should
I
be
have to deal
prosperous.
with at
But
my
if the
job too.
government's wrong, it impoverishes the people. And so I think we should
I
not be
actually have good
complacent in the
middle
United
managers,
States and
believe it or
thinking
not.
that and taking our prosperity for
They work
granted,
their asses off to
because
try to
if
take
with
care of
bad
us,
government
but
policy,
the
we can run the
bullshit that
country
comes
into the
down is
ground.
really
And
they get left in the
that's just
dark a lot.
something people should bear in mind. Don't
He's
take
talking about
prosperity for granted.
Well,
Venezuela.
well, think of
I actually went
education.
to
So
Venezuela
we're ranked at the bottom
in
of every list of the
1996.
top 40.
Okay,
We're ranked number 40, number 38.
years before, a couple
Uh,
of years. When did he even take
Norway,
over? 97 or 98?
Switzerland, Sweden,
It
different
was one of the most
countries are
beautiful
ranked
countries I ever
good.
went to.
Actually,
I went to
China's
Caracas.
pretty close to the top.
Beautiful,
They're a
beautiful
top
city.
6 or 7. But we're ranked at the bottom, almost at the
Some of
bottom,
the most
38,
beautiful women that I have
39,
ever
40.
seen walking
In other words,
around. There was just
horrible.
so much
And
wealth.
yet we
It was
spend
such a
more per
wealthy
pupil
country.
than any other country in the world. So we spend more. And what I'm going to do, one of the first acts, and this is where I need an
Here we
Elon
go, some
Musk. I
policy.
need somebody that has a lot of strength and courage and smarts. I want to close up Department of Education, move education back to the states,
Yeah,
where states like Iowa, where states like Idaho, not every state will do great because states that basically aren't doing good now. You look at Gavin Newsom, the governor of
You
California.
call him Gavin
He
Newsom.
he's terrible. He does a terrible job. So he's not going to do great with education. But of the
yeah,
50, I would bet that 35 would do great, and 15 of
yeah.
them, or 20 of them will be as good as Norway. Norway is considered great. Uh, you can name them. I mean, they're so good. Some of
Yeah,
these countries are so good. But if you go into some of these really well-run states, we have states that don't know what debt is. We have states that have low taxes, no debt, everybody working. They're really well run,
sure.
and maybe they have certain advantages in terms of location, in terms of the land or the sun, the sun and the water and the
A
whole
lot of
thing.
it has to
there are a
do
lot
with
of
how the states are
advantages to
being
some
run.
people. But if you moved education back to the 50, you'll have some that won't do well, but they'll actually be forced to do better because it'll be a pretty
Yes.
bad situation.
Yeah,
But
Yes.
if
but
you think
well,
about it,
yeah,
you'll have some
yeah,
of
yeah,
these states. I'll bet you'd have 30, 35 states. It'll be much better. And you know what it'll cost? Less than
yeah,
half what it is in Washington. And
yeah.
these people don't care
Well,
about the
yeah,
students in these faraway states, and
Nope.
it'd
well,
be unbelievable.
yeah. I think you're making
The
a good
teaching
point in
genes could
that
give a rat's ass about the
if
kids in this
the states
country
have to
who are
if
failing miserably.
if each state has to compete against other states, then people will
That's
naturally
right.
move to states where it's better.
Well, like
Um,
California, as we said, it's a badly run state. I could go through. I got so many friends that are in those states, even if they're Democrats. I hate to mention certain states, but Illinois is badly run with Pritzker. He's a real
Ugh.
loser. But
yeah,
but some of these places are just badly run. But it's almost going to force them to run better, and they won't do a good at initially. But you're not going to do worse than you're doing right now. And
Nope.
I would say that
yeah,
the cost, you would cut your cost by 50 or 60%. And you'd have a little
yeah, yeah,
monitor. You want to make sure they're teaching English as an example. Give us a
yeah.
little English, right?
Sure, yeah.
Right?
No, but I mean, to what some of these governors are doing so badly. I mean, they got so many people moving out of their state. They should get U-Haul Salesman of the Year award because they're driving so much U-Haul
It's
sales.
actually
Because just
amazing.
people moving out,
Isn't it amazing to you as a businessman that they can even survive? Like Illinois, so many people are leaving, and you wonder, how do they survive? I mean, how do they survive? Uh, I saw where you left California and you moved to Texas. Texas does a great job. But, I
Yeah,
mean, I just wonder, how do these states survive when big businesses, a big oil company just left California, as you know, and they moved to Texas. How do these big states
Chevron. I was talking about
survive
Chevron just
when
left
they lose so
because
many
leaving
businesses
California.
and their taxes are already really high? The taxes are among the highest
yeah.
taxes. You almost wonder, how do they continue on? And in many cases, the governors don't do a good job in their crime-ridden places. You wonder, how do they continue to just
I
go
think of
on? It's
California like I
it's
think of
not it's
Well,
not a good
I think there's.
situation.
when I
I mean, I
read
think the only
Atlas
thing that's
Shrugged
going to
by
force some of these states to change is if they risk bankruptcy and they're not
Ayn
getting
Rand.
bailed out by the federal
Right,
government.
right. Well, you're
That's
gonna
that's
you're
the
gonna
only thing
have
that's going to
that.
get them to
That's
change.
where they're
You
headed.
remember the
Yeah,
area in California where they had that, where I guess somebody had sticky fingers and they stole a lot of money, and they went into a form of chapter, and it was very
yeah,
nasty
yeah.
for a period of time. But now it's probably the most popular place in all of California. So at some point, something like that may have to happen. But the problem is, you can't penalize people that loan money to the state when you have incompetent people like a Pritzker. Look, the family didn't want him in the family business, and
I got a friend
then
in
he ends up being
Illinois
governor of
who
Illinois. So
absolutely
what is he
hates
going to be? Is he going to be a great governor?
Prickster. I
And
call him
you,
Prickster.
you have
That's what
people.
he
I
is, a
could name
fucking
every one of
prick.
them. I got to know every one of
Yep.
these, and some are very good, and some are just horrible.
Well, I think that the larger point here, too, as you're saying, like a lot of people are concerned about the economy, a lot of people are concerned about inflation, and inflation is effectively a tax on people that save money
Yeah.
and for people that are working day to day, it's
Great way
it's
to
just a
put it,
form of
Elon.
taxation. And if we can solve the
Wish
government
more
spending
people
problem, we'll
understood
solve
that.
the inflation problem, which means people will have a better standard of living, and
Yeah.
that's a really big
Well, the
deal.
people that got hurt
Um,
worst are the people that did it the way they were taught to do it all through, their younger life and their young life and their whole life. The people that saved money and then they got no interest on their money and inflation destroyed them. And frankly, they were almost better off if they didn't do anything like that. I mean, those people have been absolutely decimated, and we're going to bring those people back and help those people. We've got to get the prices down. When I look at bacon costing 4 or 5 times more than it did a few years ago,
sure.
when you look at some of the food products in grocery stores, people go, they can't believe it. They used to be able to buy a whole cart, and today, a lot of people just don't have the money. They go in and they can't buy anything. They look at
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
it's
even just
sticker
the
I
people
shock.
think
that
They
it.
call
having
it
the
Yeah,
sticker
money.
shock, right?
Even the people with
I,
money
I think it
are
really
not
just comes, like I
spending
said, I think it just comes down to really,
because
I guess,
they
to
got to
really
hold on to
two
it for
things,
dear
which
life and hope
is that
for
if you solve government
things to change
overspending, you solve
so their money
inflation,
will go
which
longer.
improves living
Right.
standards
They get what they need, and
the
that's it.
average person, and then if you deregulate, like have sensible regulations, so because a lot of the regulations are nonsensical and cause the cost to be extreme for no reason, but unless you've got effective deregulation, like Reagan did a great job on deregulation in the 80s, but it's been 40 years since we had
That's right.
anyone really. I mean,
I agree
during
with
your
you, man.
administration, we made some progress, but I think uh, there's opportunity to make, I think, radical progress
Inflation
with
is
sensible
partially because you
regulation.
signed those bills,
Um,
Trump.
and
Take some
uh,
Yeah.
and and
responsibility,
and
man. I
Well,
if
Elon,
totally agree with
those two
that.
things, yeah,
I mentioned that
those are the
earlier
big
yeah,
deals.
we set a
about how,
record.
you
We
I
set
feel
a
like
we
he did
did
a lot of
more
great things, but there were also,
deregulation and
the
more
debt. He definitely did raise the debt,
restrictions
and
on all of the different businesses than any other president.
but
Remember
to
I
be
had the
fair,
rule for
inflation was
everyone we
only at
put
one
in, you have
point
to get rid
fucking
of
three
at
percent when
10
he
or
left,
12. And we
and what
we did
Yeah,
radical
it's
cuts
probably
on
it
all of
was
that,
probably
and a
headed
lot
up,
of that's being put back by this administration. And we did radical cuts on things
but the
that weren't
Biden
necessary.
administration just
But we were
exacerbated it
we were all set. We had the best
with the
economy ever maybe in the
regulations and so much
world.
shit
And
they
then what
signed too
happened
that
is COVID came in,
had
and
zero
we had to
effect,
focus on that, and
zero
nobody knew
positive
what it
effect on the
was.
economy.
And I always say I
Speaking
got
of
good marks on
regulations,
economy, good marks on military. We knocked out ISIS. We did so many different
but you're
things. We
right, man.
rebuilt.
He's
But,
partially to blame.
I never got the credit that we really deserved on what we did with COVID. We never got the credit. But if had that not happened, a gift from China, from Wuhan, came in from Wuhan, the Wuhan labs, and I always said it, and it turned out to be right. But
yeah,
had that not happened, we were set to start reducing debt. We were going to reduce taxes further. I gave the largest tax cuts, and we were going to reduce taxes still further for middle income people, not only businesses. But we did it for
sure,
businesses because they're the ones that's why we had the great job numbers. But we
Yeah,
were set to
and small
really
businesses,
start
and the
reducing debt.
entrepreneurship went through the
And
roof
we're sitting
in his
on
four
the
years.
the
Um,
biggest pile of
Especially
liquid
minority
gold anywhere in the world, bigger
entrepreneurship
than
went through the
Saudi
fucking
Arabia,
roof.
bigger than Russia. And we were going to drill, and we
Money
were
was
going to
able to
make
go
so much
a
money.
long
We were
way.
going to supply Europe with oil. I had stopped the
I
Russian
mentioned that
pipeline, and we were going to
earlier.
supply them with oil and gas.
Yep.
We were going to make a fortune. And then the COVID came in, and we really had to divert. Then what happened is when they came in, we kept a lot of businesses alive. If I didn't do what we did, we would have had a 1929 type
Yeah,
depression.
you know what
But
gets
the
me upset?
problem is
That
when
he
Biden
saved
came in,
U.S. Steel, man, and
he
then they
got
fucking sold
trillions
out
of dollars
to the
and just started
Japanese
spending it stupidly. You
recently.
didn't need it anymore. We got over that bad
He saved
period
U.S.
where it was
Steel,
everybody
which
was
is like
dying and feeling,
a
it was
staple American
just not a
company,
good
man,
period.
and then they fucking sold out
Interestingly,
to the Japanese.
during his administration, many more people died during his administration of COVID than during my administration, and we really got the brunt of it. But people don't realize more people died during his administration than ours. But it diverted us from doing what I wanted to do. But we had the greatest for almost 3 years. We had the
yeah,
great, and you know that
He
probably
was
better
actually
than
starting to
anybody.
pull us
So
out.
many of your friends said to me, the best years we've ever had in
The economy
business
was coming back under
were
him.
during the Trump years, and
Even with
also said
COVID, the
that
economy was starting to turn
African American,
before he left office.
Hispanic American were so incredible. They were having the best Asian American women, men, young people without a diploma, young people that graduated from the best colleges, from MIT, from the Wharton School, from all of the great colleges, Harvard. They were doing better, and people without a diploma were doing better. and everybody was happy. And then COVID came, and
I
Sure.
we had
remember
the problem is they
taking a
spent
drive
trillions and
through.
trillions of
I
dollars
think
they
it was
wasted. They shouldn't have
I was
taken
on my way
any
to North
money, and we
Carolina,
wouldn't be having inflation
and
right now, which is killing
I
our
was
country.
like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first or second
Yeah,
year of his
absolutely. And I mean, I
presidency,
should
and I
probably
was
say
just
something about
watching
like
shit go up all
maybe
up.
my views
But
on
throughout my whole trip,
climate
I
change
was
Yeah,
just
and
watching
oil
the
and
buildings go
gas,
up.
because
Yeah, that
I think
definitely didn't
probably
fucking help.
different from what most
And all
people
that
would
Green New
assume.
Deal shit disguised
Because
as the
my views are actually
infrastructure
pretty,
bill,
I think,
that
moderate
shit
in
didn't
this
help.
regard, which is that I don't think we should
Oh, that was another
vilify
thing
the oil and
Harris was
gas
responsible
industry
for,
and the people that have
giving
worked
people
very hard in
internet
those
in rural
industries to provide the
in
necessary
rural
energy
America.
to support the economy.
That still
And if we
hasn't
were to
happened.
stop using oil and gas right now, we would all be starving, and the economy
Billions
would
of dollars
collapse.
wasted, man.
So it's I don't think it's right to sort of vilify the oil and gas industry, and I and the world has a certain demand for oil and gas, and it's probably better if the United States provides that than some other
sure.
countries,
It, we got,
and
listen,
it would help with
compared to other
prosperity in the
countries, we
U.S.
have the fucking
And
safest and
at the same
cleanest
time, obviously,
fuel,
my view is like we do over
oil
time
and
want to
gas
move to
processes,
a sustainable energy
because
economy
it's so
because
regulated
eventually you do run out of. I
compared
mean,
to other nations.
you run out of oil and gas. It's not there for. It's not infinite. Um, and there is some risk. I think the risk is not as
That's what I
high
was getting
as
at. That shit didn't happen.
a lot of people
Yeah,
say it is with
billions of
respect to
dollars,
global
man.
warming. But I
She
think
was in charge of that shit too.
if you
She's getting
just keep
hammered in the
increasing the
press for
parts per
that as
million
well right
in the
now.
atmosphere
Well,
long enough, eventually it
she's
actually
getting
simply
hammered
gets
by,
uncomfortable
conservative
to
media,
breathe. People don't realize this. If you go
because
past
The
1,000 parts per
Marxist state
million
media is
of
providing cover for
CO2,
her.
you start getting headaches and nausea. And so we're now in the sort of 400 range. We're adding, I think, about roughly two parts per million
We
per
were talking
year.
about the internet
So
in
I mean, it
rural
still gives
America,
us
and
so what it means is like
internet
we
in
still
rural
have
America
quite a bit
did
of
that
time.
didn't happen. I live in rural
But
America.
so there's not like we don't need
It's pretty
to
fucking
rush,
funny.
and we don't need to like
Uh,
stop farmers from farming or you know uh prevent people from having steaks or
Right,
basic stuff
right.
like that. Like you can leave the farmers alone,
I agree.
in
How
my opinion.
crazy is that? Where
I mean,
you have farmers that
People
are
have this
not allowed to
misconception that
farm
farmers
anymore
don't
and
believe
have to
in
get rid of
taking
their
care of the
cattle, and
environment. That is such a
the whole
farce.
world is
yeah,
a
that's
little
They
crazy.
silly.
need the
But
environment to be
it's
taken care of so
largely
that they
taken
can
its
thrive.
lead from us.
They just
I do
want to
say
go
though,
about
I've
it a
heard
different way.
in terms of the fossil fuel, because even to create your electric car and create the
Remember when Obama
electricity
came really
needed for
against the
the
green
electric
energy
car,
companies, and then right after we all
fossil
went, I
fuel is
remember
what
that.
really
What was the
creates
name of
that
that?
at the
What
generating
was the name of
plants.
that
And,
solar panel
so
company?
you sort of can't get
It
away
was like the
from it at
first
this
one. That was like
moment. I mean,
the
someday you
biggest
might be
story.
able
And
to,
then they hit all
but
the
I
other
do
ones.
hear we
God,
have
what was the
anywhere
name of
from
that solar
100 to
panel company?
500 years left.
It
Much of it
bankrupt
hasn't
in
even
less
been
than a year
found
or some
yet.
shit.
Yeah,
But there are tremendous, like Anwar. I got Anwar in Alaska approved. Ronald Reagan couldn't do it. Nobody could do it. Everybody tried. Nobody could do it. I got it approved.
The
The first
Keystone
thing that
Pipeline,
Biden
that
did
being
was
killed right off the bat, that
unimprove it,
hurt us big time.
to get rid of it.
That was like the beginning of
He
our
ended
yeah.
sky
it.
price.
His
The
his
prices
secretary
going
went in
sky
and
high
she ended
for
it.
our fuel in this
And
country.
what a disgrace. That's
It
Anwar.
doesn't help
That's
that
bigger, or
this
they
fucking
think it
idiot
could
in
be
the
bigger than
White
Saudi
House has
Arabia
dumped
in
our
Alaska.
reserves too.
Could be bigger than Saudi
We had
Arabia.
the reserves
But
completely
they
full.
went in and they terminated it. And I'll get it going very quickly, because not only
He's
is it
talking about the
big for Alaska, I mean,
Solyndra.
you talk about
Yes.
economic development, that for the United
Yes,
States, I mean,
Solyndra.
that is, they say
Oh man.
bigger than Saudi Arabia
Good,
or the
good,
same
good.
size,
Way to
and
fucking remind me,
pure,
Jonathan. I told you
Yeah.
my
really
memory
good
sucks
stuff.
at 50 right
And,
now for whatever
they
reason.
ended. So I
It's
think we have,
probably
perhaps
Solyndra.
hundreds of years left. Nobody
Hey,
really
he's
knows.
talking about that
But
right now, by the
during
way.
that
Yeah.
during that
It's
time,
not one that I
something
My
just
will
estimate.
come
mentioned.
around that will be
Yeah.
very good.
And he's
Yeah.
going to
Go
get
ahead.
it up and running.
Well,
And
I
I
mean,
believe him. He
and
will.
my estimate would be, a little more
The
aggressive
infrastructure's
than
still
that. But
there.
it's not the sort of like we're all going to die in 5 years stuff. That's obviously BS. Um, but I mean, my view is like if you just look at sort of the parts per million that increments every year, you get sort of 2 or 3 parts per million every year of CO2. Uh, y- I mean, I think some of that it's problematic if it accelerates if you start going from 2 or 3
Right.
to say 5, and then there may be some situations where you get just a
This has been a
step change
fantastic
increase in the
conversation
CO2.
Hmm.
between them.
And I think
Just two
we
dudes
don't want to
dialoguing,
get
man.
too close to 1,000 ppm because like that's actually makes it uncomfortable to breathe. Like just
He's
existing
giving him an
in a
actual
thousand
science
ppm
education. I love
CO2
it.
is uncomfortable. That's like that's considered like an industrial hazard.
Right.
Just so so it's that's actually, you start getting headaches and stuff. So it's even without global warming, it's not comfortable to live. So you don't want to get too close to that. But I mean, I think we've got. I think we want to just move over, and like, and if I don't know, 50 to 100 years from now, we're I don't know, mostly sustainable. I think that'll probably be okay. Um, so it's not like the house is on fire immediately, but I think it is something we need to move towards. And on on balance, it's probably better to move there faster than slower. But like I said, without vilifying the oil and gas industry, and without
1.2
causing
million, man,
hardship in the short term. I think this
are
can be
tuned in.
done, without, people can still have, a
Yeah.
stake, and they can still drive gasoline
Yeah,
cars, and this,
I'd vote for that
it's
too.
it's okay. It's like,
I,
it's not. I
unfortunately, I
don't think
don't
we
ever
should
see that
vilify
ever
people for
happening,
it, but I
but
think we should
if
just
nothing else,
generally
man,
lean in the
we
direction
could use a
of
flat tax.
sustainability. And
Because the reality,
I actually
taxation is
think
just a
solar
it's a
is going to
fucking
be
farce
a
anyway.
majority
They just print
of
money
Earth's
anyway.
energy
I don't know if
generation
you've seen recently
in the future, and it's certainly
the
trending that way.
pallets
Hmm.
of cash
and
that
and
the
so you get the
Taliban has
solar
been getting.
power.
That's been in the
Combine
news
that
recently.
with batteries,
The
so
DoD
because
didn't
obviously
vet
the sun
them,
doesn't shine at night,
who's been getting the money. So
and
we
then you
just
use
been,
that to charge the electric
giving
cars,
out, continue to
and
give
you
our
have a
enemies
long-term
money.
sustainable solution. And
We
that's
shouldn't
what
be
Tesla's
giving
trying to move things towards, and I think
anybody
we've
in
made a lot of
Afghanistan anything
progress
else anymore at
in that
this point.
regard. But when you look at our cars, we don't believe that environmentalism, that caring about the environment, should mean that you have to suffer.
Yeah,
So we make sure that
states
our cars
gotta
are beautiful, that they drive well,
states
that they're
have to.
fast, they're sexy. I mean, they're cool. In fact, literally, I mean, the sexy joke, Model
Again,
S,
I just don't see
Model
that
3, Model
happening.
X and Y
I
spells
wish,
out sexy.
brother.
It's
I
probably the most
really do,
expensive
man.
joke out there.
That'd be awesome.
Um, but
But
I
I'll
just,
take
I
a
don't know, I
flat
like
tax
cheesy
at this
humor,
point.
so. Um, but I'm not, I'm
But
a big fan
taxation
of,
is
like, let's
definitely
have an
theft.
inspiring future, and
Yeah.
let's work
Because like I
towards,
said, the government just
a
fucking
better
prints money
future,
anyway.
and we can do so without demonizing
Right.
people.
I'm okay.
You know,
It's very interesting. You use the word global warming, and today they use the word climate change because you have some places that go up, and so they were getting themselves in a little trouble with the word global warming because not every place is warming. Some places are going the opposite direction. But I'm sort of waiting for you to come up with solar panels on the roofs of your cars and on the trunks of the cars, and it just seems like something that at some point you will come up with. I'm sure you'll be the first, but it would seem that a solar panel on the roofs, on flat surfaces, on certain surfaces might be good,
yeah,
at least in certain areas of the country where you have the world
sure,
where you have the
It is,
sun.
man.
But
Inflation is
I would
definitely, and
I would
Elon
think,
was
and I
talking
have
about
no
that.
idea because that's not my world,
Yeah, let me
but
put that
I
up.
would think that this would be something that would be interesting. But the one
Because
thing
money
that I
money
don't
printing,
understand
aka
is that
inflation, is
people
just another
talk about
tax. Yeah,
global
Eli was
warming
talking
or
about
they
that.
talk about climate
Eli
change,
Elon was
but they
talking
never
about
talk
that
about nuclear warming.
earlier when they were
And
talking
to
about
me,
inflation. It
sure,
was
that's
just
an
another
immediate
tax
problem
on America,
because
on
you have, as I
Americans.
said,
You're
five
absolutely right, man.
countries where you have major
Absolutely
nuclear, and
correct.
probably some others are getting there, and that's very dangerous. That's where you need a strong American president because you don't want to have this proliferation. But you have five countries and getting more. China is much less than us right now, but they're going to catch us sooner than people think. They're way lower. Russia and us are number one, and I mean, we're sort of tied. And China is far behind, but they're developing at a level that you're not surprised to hear very fast. They'll end up catching up, maybe even
yeah,
surpassing. But to me, the biggest
yeah,
problem is not climate change. It's not, and everything's a problem, but it's degrees. To me, the big problem is the nuclear power. The
Yep.
power of nuclear is
Yeah, they
so
did.
great. And when I talk
yeah.
about
Nuclear power is underrated. It's
I'll
They
awesome.
got
prevent
their
World
people to
War
go along
III,
with it
Oh,
through fucking
I
welfare.
will. But the
okay.
truth is that you have to because this is no longer army tanks going back and forth and shooting at each other. This is
Yeah,
a level of destruction and
Yep.
power
He's talking
that
about nuclear
nobody's
war
ever
again, what
seen
we were talking
before.
about earlier.
yeah, and actually, there's the bad side of nuclear, which is a nuclear war, very bad side. But there's also, I think, nuclear electricity generation is
Absolutely, you're
underrated.
Yeah.
right.
And it's actually, people have
He's
this
talking
fear
about the
of
good side of nuclear power, which is not
nuclear
just
electricity
fucking bombs,
generation,
but
but it's actually one of the
powering the
safest
nation with
forms
nuclear
of
power.
electricity generation. It's just a huge misunderstanding. Um, And if you look at the injuries and deaths,
The
caused
European
by,
countries that
say,
have
I
given
mean,
up
I'm not
on
trying to
nuclear
pick on coal
power,
mining, but just
and they're
any kind
now
of mining
Right.
back
operation.
to fucking coal and fuel is ridiculous.
There's a certain number of injuries and deaths per year. And you compare that
We
to
need more
nuclear.
nuclear
Nuclear is
power.
actually way better. So it's underrated as an electricity source, and I think it's something that's worth reconsidering. But there's so much regulation that people can't get it done. So that
Maybe they'll have
sort
to
of
change the
have it,
name. The name is just, it's a rough name. There are some areas
yeah, it's a rough
like when
name.
you see what happened in,
Good bad
right,
branding. The
we'll have to
branding's rough.
rebrand it. We'll have to give it a good name. We'll name it after you or something. You know, no, it
No,
has, hey, it
He's
has a
fucking silly,
branding
man.
problem. You know, when you see what happened,
it does have a branding problem.
when you see what happened in Japan, where they say you won't be able to go on the land for about 3,000 years. Did you ever see that? And in Russia, where they had the problem, where they,
Chernobyl.
there's a lot of bad things happened, and they have a problem. And they say that in 2,000 years, people will start to occupy the land again. You realize it's pretty bad,
No, that's not true.
but there's,
Yep.
you're
Well, no,
right
no,
about it. It's amazing.
it's actually not that bad. So like after Fukushima happened in Japan,
That is true.
like
But the
people were
technology, I
asking me
will
in
say that
California,
I think the
are we
technology
worried
has
about
come a
like a
long
nuclear
way. Now,
cloud
I don't
coming from
know
Japan? I'm
where
like,
we
no, that's
stand with that
crazy.
because we've
It's actually
essentially
it's not even
abandoned it
dangerous in Fukushima. I actually
here in
flew
this
there
nation. We
and
were
and
headed in
oh,
the
and
right
ate locally
direction.
grown vegetables on TV to
I
prove it.
know
Um,
just in
and
recent
and I
years,
donated a
the Indian
solar
Point
water
in New
treatment,
York,
yeah, a solar
once
powered
they shut that down,
system for a
there's like
water treatment
rolling
plant,
fucking brownouts
and
now
Yeah, but you
in New
haven't
because
York
the
been
because of
danger
feeling
is
it.
so
just
well lately, and I'm worried about it.
no, but I mean,
I'm
it's just
only kidding.
it's
I'm only
Hey,
fine,
kidding.
whatever happened to the
It's
dude that
like
was what do you call
Hiroshima
it? I think they
and
killed him.
Nagasaki were bombed, but
He
now
was
they're
he had
like
the
full cities again. So
what
Right,
is it?
it's
that's
really
The
great.
not
That's great.
something that
for hydrogen
That's
um
great.
fusion,
so it's not
hydrogen
as scary as people
what do you
think,
call it?
basically. But
Yeah.
um
What am I thinking?
let's see. I mean, are there some other topics we should
Hydrogen.
touch on? Oh, like
The hell?
lawfare. I think
Well,
we need to be
eh,
concerned about.
what they've done to
Um,
this country.
obviously,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we just won the big
I mean,
case in
Smart.
Florida.
That's very,
This
very
was
smart.
a Biden
I don't know how
administration
old the
did
technology
something
is
that's
there,
never been done in this country, and that's go after their political opponent, me, with
but
this
again, we
nonsense
we're kind of
and
giving
just
up on it here in
nonsense.
the
And the
United
big
States. We were
case in
heading in the
Florida,
right
we
direction
won.
with technology.
But they
The
always
one they got
pick
rid of in New
a
York could have went
judge
on for
and a
another
jury, and they
fucking
use local
forever.
DAs, they use the local attorney generals like Fani, Fani, spelled
yeah,
Fani, Fani, and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
I
all a
remember
big
there was a
hoax,
guy in
and
the
it's all
90s who
run
was
from
close to
there,
like
like in Manhattan.
hydro energy with water
The One of the
to make
top
fuel
people
cells.
from the
That guy just
Justice Department
disappeared.
went in, ran Manhattan, ran the state. The Letitia James deal was run by a person from the
Now he's talking
Department
about
of
his
Justice,
cases,
Biden.
the
They've
bullshit they
never
put
done
him
this
through
before,
here
sure,
in New
and they
York.
set up a very bad precedent. It's called lawfare,
And all over the
warfare.
country.
yeah,
It's a terrible thing, and never happened in our country. It does happen in banana republics and third world countries, but it's never
yeah,
happened. And the incredible thing is it actually drove my numbers up because people see, fortunately I have a platform like you, or, in all fairness, like a conversation like this, where I can talk about it and people understand. I mean, you fight for election integrity and you end up getting indicted because you're fighting for election integrity. And when the day comes that you can't fight for election integrity, you don't have a country anymore. So what
yeah,
happens is they went after their political opponent, me.
Oh, looks like I
Now
got somehow my
Biden's,
signal back again. I'm checking.
close to vegetable stage, in my opinion. Okay, I looked at him today on the beach, and I said, why would anybody allow him? The guy could barely
He just
walk.
called
Why
Biden a
would
vegetable.
anybody allow him? Does
yeah,
he have a political advisor that thinks this looks good? He thinks this looks good because it looks so bad, and it's ridiculous. I mean, and he's been doing
right,
that
right,
for a long time. He can't lift the chair. The chair weighs about 3 ounces. It's meant for children and old people to lift, and he can't
yeah.
lift it. The whole thing is
Well,
crazy.
he's clearly not, I mean, he's
Just
clearly like we
ragging
just
on
don't
Biden.
have a president right
You
now.
don't
That's
have a
just obviously the
president, and
case.
she's going to be worse than him
Um,
because she is a San Francisco liberal who destroyed San Francisco, and then as Attorney General, she destroyed California. You talk about location, and we're talking about the
Yeah,
sun and the
wasn't
water and all.
I could have
There's
sworn though that
nothing better than
like Chernobyl
California.
though was
She has destroyed
weren't they
that.
near
She was the
waterways
original
to help with the
DA. She was
cooling?
the original in San Francisco. She was the original Attorney General in California. What she has done to California is, well, you know better than I do. You just
Yeah,
left
that's true.
California
Because when
for
they
a lot of
when
those
they
reasons.
lost it,
And what she's
they
done
couldn't cool it.
with crime, with cashless bail, where you kill somebody. I mean, we have States now, you kill somebody
Yeah,
and they let you out right
that is
away. I
very
mean,
true.
you don't have to even put up, and then they never find the people unless they kill again,
I
and then they
remember
let
my
them out
parents,
again. Our
Yeah.
country is
the house
becoming
they
a
sold
very
in New York before
dangerous
they
place.
moved
And
down
she is
south,
a
they had a
radical left
generator on there that
San
was fucking,
Francisco
it was
liberal.
natural
And
gas
now she's
powered. It was
trying to
awesome.
protect. Now she's looking like she wants to be more Trump than Trump, if that's
He's
possible. I
talking
don't think
about
it's
her
possible,
stealing his
but she wants
policies.
to be more Trump than
Well,
Trump.
yeah.
I want a
Harris is
wall.
I,
I
just
I
a
want,
think
fucking
that's
piece of
you know,
work.
she
yeah.
wants to release all the
Yeah.
prisoners that are in detention, and some of these guys are really bad.
Right.
That just came
Yeah, I
out
just saw
today.
that.
She
Yeah.
doesn't want to build the wall, even though the walls work. Walls and wheels. You know, in your business, everything you do is obsolete. Almost, well, not the tunnels, but everything is obsolete. Even your rocket ships, they're like a month later, they're obsolete. You find a better way to. The only
Yeah,
thing that's not
you're right,
obsolete
man.
is a wall and a wheel.
That's a valid
And
question.
the wall, you know, I built hundreds of miles of wall, and that's
The
why we had
supply
such good
chain can be
numbers.
very, very
I was
weak.
going to add
Yeah.
200
Yeah.
miles. We bought it. We could have flipped it
You
up
have a good,
in
you have a,
3 weeks,
I
and they sold it for
think
5 cents
you're
on the
taking it
dollar.
as is a legit
That
take,
meant,
man.
I
I
said,
think that
wow, that
it is
means that they
definitely a mixed
actually do
bag.
want to have open borders.
Um,
She
I
wants to
just
have
think that
open borders,
we kind of
and
gave up
now
on the
she's going like
technology.
she's tough on the border. It's such a lie.
Yeah. This is simply
We're
not
Yeah,
true.
slowing
This is
everything
simply
no,
not
down.
and
true.
everybody
Yeah,
knows
it's
it's
simply not
not true.
true.
It's a disgrace that she's
Everybody
even
Yeah.
was just,
saying it.
especially after Chernobyl.
No, I mean, obviously, what's happening sort of
Everybody was
overnight is
terrified.
they're rewriting history and making Kamala sound like a moderate when in fact she is far left, like
Oh, they're
far
starting to
Worse
left.
rip
than
into
Bernie
Harris
Um,
Sanders.
now.
She is considered more
yeah,
liberal by far than Bernie Sanders. She's a radical left lunatic. And if she's going to be our president,
A radical
very
left
quickly, you're
lunatic. I
not going to
love
have
it.
a country anymore. And she'll go back to all of
yeah,
the things that she believes in. She believes in defunding the police. She believes in no fracking, zero. You no. Now all of a
yeah,
sudden she's
yeah.
saying, no, I will. I really want to see fracking. If they got in, the day she got in, she'll end fracking.
No,
And
man,
by the way,
you're
if
right.
people didn't
I
think
think
that,
that
the lunatics that really
I
believe
just
in
think that
that,
we just us as a
they won't
nation, I
vote for
think
her.
that
You know,
we were headed on the right
like
path
like the
Yeah.
with
Palestinians
good
and
nuclear
Israel.
technology.
She is so
And we just like kind of gave up
anti-Israel,
on
and
it,
she's bad for both.
especially after
Biden
Chernobyl.
actually did something that was impossible. Both sides hate him. You know, both sides. That was a hard
Yeah.
thing to do. Unification.
And it was
Yeah, no, no. I
scary.
mean,
Think about it,
I
man.
mean,
That land
Netanyahu
is
came to
done
give
forever.
a talk to a joint Senate and House sitting, and I was there, and Kamala stood him up. What does that say?
I think
Um,
it's highly
that's
disrespectful. And I say, if you're a Jewish person or if you believe in Israel, if you're a person that, you know, is a very pro-Israel, if you vote for her, it's worse than Biden. And Biden was bad. But if you vote for her, you ought to have your head examined. And you see tonight, I mean, as we're doing this, I'm seeing reports coming that they expect an attack tonight or tomorrow from hundreds and maybe thousands of rockets. You know, their Iron Dome, as they call it, as we all call it, but their shield that they build, that can be swamped. We'll use the
Yep.
term, it's
yeah,
appropriate, swamped. But they
yeah.
swamp it by shooting enough missiles. You know this better than
Yeah,
anybody.
I
By
can't take them
shooting
all
enough
down.
missiles,
So,
they can't defend themselves. You know, they just obliterate the whole
yeah,
place.
That's what you were
And
talking
that's
about
what
earlier, man.
some people
That
think
Iron Dome,
they're looking to
it's not
do.
going to be able
And we
to.
have no
Can't take them all
leadership.
down.
There's no respect for the United States of America with these people. And I'm telling you,
yeah,
she'll be worse than him because she's a believer
yeah. No,
in
I
being
think you're right.
radical left, and he wasn't.
He's
I,
spot
I
on
think you're
about
right. I
that.
mean, you really, it's
I know
important
they're trying to
for the public
whitewash,
that maybe listens to this to
which
say
was
to
a good
look
way to
at
put it,
Kamala's track record,
and scrub her history.
before
But
the last like month,
she's
and
left of
say,
Bernie.
is that a track record you agree with? And I think if you're an independent moderate, you definitely would not agree with it, because it is her behavior has been far left, and we're seeing just an overnight propaganda attempt to rewrite history and make it sound like Kamala's moderate when she in fact is not moderate.
Well,
She's
Um,
not being moderate at
so I
her
all.
think
running
that
mate approved, signed into legislation, tampons in boys' bathrooms. Okay, now
yeah,
that's
yeah,
all I
that's
have to
weird.
hear. Tampons in
That's
boys'
weird.
bathrooms,
Uh,
and that means she believes
Yeah,
in that too. I mean,
yep.
yeah, that's
she
not
picked
okay.
this
Same idea. She
guy
picked him
because
for
he was
that.
the closest to her. A lot of people
Yep.
thought she'd pick sort of the opposite, but she picked an anti-Israel radical
Yeah.
left person.
You're
But she
absolutely
is
correct, man.
far worse, they say, than Bernie Sanders. If we have her as a president. If we have a
And
Democrat at this
they
moment
listen.
as the
They can't knock
president,
shit down.
I don't think our
Can't
country
knock
can
it all down.
survive.
If you saturate,
I think
it's a
I
small
think it's
country.
a
If you
massive.
saturate it with
I think we're
everything you
in
got, you're gonna
massive
fucking
trouble,
you'll get a
frankly,
lot of
with the
obliteration.
Kamala administration, and that's my honest opinion. Um, and uh, and I think really it's essential that you win for the good of the country for this election, and I mean that's I'm just stating my opinion. Um, now, you may have seen this, but I got a letter from
Oh,
the
he's getting
EU
into the
Commission,
letter
like
now from the
saying,
EU about
to
not
not have disinformation on
having this
during this discussion
pod
that we're
today.
having, like, and there's a lot of attempts to do censorship and to force censorship even on Americans from other countries, and um, what do you think about that?
Well, I know the European Union very well. They take great advantage of the United States in trade, as you know.
That they do.
We, through a different forum, NATO, we protect them, and yet if you build a car in the United States, you can't sell it in Europe. You just can't sell it. It's impossible. The same thing with our farmers. Our farmers find it very difficult to do business. We have a deficit with them of $250 billion, which people
Trade. I
don't know.
was
It
just about
sounds
to
so
say
nice,
that
the
our trade
European
deficit with
Union, but let me
the
tell you,
EU
they're
is insane.
they're not as tough as China, but they're bad. And I let them know it,
That
and
deficit
that's
is
probably why they
that
notified
deficit
you.
has
No, they don't
existed
treat our
since the
country
Marshall
well.
Plan
We defend them.
after
You
World War
know,
II.
with Ukraine, so we're in for 250 billion, and they're in for about 71 billion, and they have the same size. It's if you add up the European nations that in terms of an economy, it's about the same size. When you say as us, and they're in,
Yeah,
and they're in much greater risk. They they're right there. We have an ocean separating us from, in this case, the enemy would be Russia. Used to be for the
yeah,
Soviet Union, but let's assume they're close enough. And what happens is uh, they're in for 70 something million. I think even less than that billion, and we're in for about 250 billion, and it could be a lot higher than that.
I would
And I say,
imagine
why
it
aren't you
is.
going to equalize? Why aren't they paying what we're paying? And they're in much more, it's much more important for them because of the fact that, they're right near there. I mean, they're all sort of in that location. We're not. But they
yeah,
should, and I did it with NATO. There were only 7 countries that were paid up in NATO out of 28 at the time. And the United States
yeah,
was the United States was subsidizing NATO, tremendously subsidizing NATO. And I went
yeah,
in and I said, you
yeah.
got to pay up. If you don't pay up, we're not going to defend you any longer. I took a lot of heat, but you know what happened? Billions and billions of dollars came flowing in, and
Yeah,
We
I
fucking
think
defend
a lot of the
everybody.
public isn't aware of
It's
the
time to
fact that
rethink a
the
lot of
United
that
States
shit.
pays a disproportionate share of the NATO expenses,
and then we get
even though
taken
like
advantage of on
Just kick
trade.
the fucking
So
UN out
think
too.
yeah,
about it.
well, I mean, the point of NATO is defending Europe, and it's it's like then okay, well, why is the United States paying disproportionately more to defend Europe than Europe? That doesn't make sense. That's unfair, and that is an appropriate thing to address.
Well,
Um,
when you talk about
so
cost cutting and savings and everything else, I mean,
We
honestly,
definitely had those
look,
motherfuckers
there's
paying their
nobody that
fair
feels
share.
worse about the Ukraine situation than I do because I know it would have never happened. I know Zelensky. He was very honorable to me because when they went with the Russia hoax and they said I had a phone call with him, he said it was a perfect phone call. It was a great phone call. He could have grandstanded and said, "Oh, he was very threatening." He said, "No, it was a very nice phone call." I called him up to congratulate him on his win, and you end up getting impeached because these
Zelensky.
people are
yeah, yeah,
lunatics. I was talking about the
The guy
difference from the
suspended
people within
fucking
and the
elections
enemies
in
on
his
the outside.
country this year.
In
They were
many
due for
cases, the
elections.
people from within are more dangerous for our
He's gotten rid of
country
all his political
than the Russians
opposition,
and the
going
Chinas.
after freaking
If you have a
Christians in
smart
his
president, you're
country.
not going to have a problem with them.
He's Putin light.
You're going to do things.
yeah.
Now they've taken advantage
Yeah,
of us
absolutely.
incredibly, but you're going to do things with the right person.
Yeah, well, I think it's obvious that you're a believer and an advocate of free speech because during your first term as president, you were attacked relentlessly every day, often very unfairly with with false attacks, and you didn't try to shut down the media, you didn't try to inhibit their freedom of speech, and I think that says a lot.
Well, the good thing is that you and I have, and some people, very few, we can get the word out. although sometimes it's hard because they don't want to print it, like we're having a great conversation right now. Kamala wouldn't have this conversation. She can't because she's not
No.
smart. She's not a smart person, by the way. She can't have this conversation. And Biden, we don't even have to
She,
talk about it. I mean,
she
he
is a
couldn't have this
moron. She's
conversation. He
definitely a
he
moron,
would have
but
given up on the first
she's
half of a
very politically
question. He would have
savvy,
walked
so people
out. He
shouldn't
would have
sleep on
said,
her
"Where am
fucking
I? Where am I
political
going?"
savviness.
So anyway,
Yeah,
She
but
knows how to
no, he wouldn't have
navigate.
this.
that's true.
Not a lot of people would
She
have
might
this
have banged her way to the
conversation, but
top, but
we
now
cover a
that
lot
she's
of
there, she knows how
territory.
to navigate it.
But the beauty is that we can have a conversation, and
Yes, you
I'm
can actually
able
have a
to get it out
conversation.
without because I get treated unfairly
This
by
is
the
a really
press.
big point. You can actually have a conversation with you,
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
and you can't have a conversation with Biden or Kamala. It's like not. It's not possible.
That's true.
Um,
It's
so this is like talking to an NPC.
no.
So it's just
Well,
impossible.
but think of it. We need a man or person who's unbelievably sharp in order to stop all the nuclear danger and all the dangers that I'm talking about. And I got along with all these. I got along with Kim Jong Un. We had dinner, we had everything, and he really liked me, and I got along with him really well. By the way, he's the absolute boss over there. A lot of people said, "Oh, do you think he really?" Let
That's for
Let me
sure.
tell you, I saw things that you don't want to know about. He is the boss. But we had a good relationship, and he doesn't like Biden. He considers him a stupid man. He said he's a stupid man. Well, at least he speaks his mind. But in this country, you're not sort of allowed to say it, but I guess you are. You should be allowed to say it if
Yeah.
it's true. But we need smart people, and we need people that have an ability to lead. And she doesn't have that ability. Can you imagine? Now,
Yeah.
Chairman Xi very well. Can you imagine her and him negotiating, or
No, it's
even
silly. It would be
standing
silly.
together? It is, the whole
Yeah.
concept is ridiculous. She is terrible. She's terrible. But she's getting a free ride. I
It
saw a
would.
picture of her
Yeah. Yeah.
on Time Magazine today. She looks like the most beautiful actress ever to live. It was a drawing, and
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
she looked very much like our great first lady, Melania. She looked, she looked, didn't look,
Yeah.
she didn't look like Camilla. That's right. But of course, she's a beautiful
Look,
woman, so we'll
Camilla.
leave it at that, right?
Oh God.
Yeah, well, maybe like I think part of what people in America want to, people in America want to feel excited and inspired about the future. They want to feel like the
It's
future is
true.
going to be better than the past, and that America is going to do things that are greater than we've done in the past, reach
Right.
new heights that make you proud to be
I'm
an
gonna give it
American,
to Elon for
and
that
excited about the
DDoS attack,
future.
man.
They want the
And I
American
It
think
dream
moved
this,
back.
pretty fast.
They want the
His
American
people were
dream
good,
back more important than anything else. It's like
faster than
you
I
don't
thought.
have that today because the people, they've been just sucked. They see
So we weren't really out
incompetent
that
people
long.
running our, you know, the Biden thing is very interesting. People just found him to be incompetent. And when I debated him, I was like, is this for real? It was
yeah, it was just absurd. But I think there are like some grand projects that we could do. I mean, I think like we could build a base on the moon. We could send American astronauts to Mars. We
right.
could build high speed
Yep.
connections that are more advanced than anything else in the world between our cities, so people have fast transport.
That's
Um,
what I'm talking about,
we,
man. We should
it's
be fucking
possible
well
to
advanced in our
solve traffic with
technology.
tunnels.
That's right.
We've
The whole rest of the
we
world has
already made
magnet trains
great
and
progress in
everything
Vegas
else, and
doing
we're
that,
still
and
our infrastructure is absolutely
and
horrible.
just do things that are exciting and inspiring and make the future feel like it's better than the past.
Well, I saw what you
Like
did in Vegas, and I'll tell you, it was amazing. I got to see. I took a big glimpse at it, and it's incredible. It's incredible, and you could do that all over. You could do that all over. It's deep.
yeah,
You
and
don't even need much structure. Assuming you're in the right areas.
no, it's straightforward.
It's amazing.
So like I think we could do some things that like China's got incredible high speed rail between its cities, but I think it's actually possible with tunnels
Yeah, our
if with
infrastructure is
deregulation
terrible.
with an ability to actually where it's like legal to
Absolutely,
actually
man. Our
do the
infrastructure
tunnels,
is
then you could
terrible.
have high speed tunnels that are actually better than anything else in the world for high speed
We
transport
should
between
we
cities,
should be
and
way
that
ahead.
would be something that
We're
Americans can
lagging
say,
way
"Wow,
behind.
okay, we've got something that's cooler than anyone else in the
Yeah,
world." That's the kind of thing that makes you proud to be an
and
That's
American.
what
much
that's what we
safer
used to
than
be.
surface trains, where there is a danger there. With people, with crazy
Yeah,
people. It's much safer, much better. And it's sad because I've seen some of the greatest trains. I find it fascinating, and I've seen the systems and how they work, and the bullet trains they call them, I guess. and
Yeah.
they go unbelievably fast, unbelievably comfortable, with no problems. And we don't have anything like that in this country, not even
Nope.
close. And
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense that we don't.
So we
Doesn't
got
make
the
sense.
Amtrak.
Yeah, and I think also like
That
there's
goes to
you
DC
know
pretty fast,
I'm
but
kind of hopping
it's
on the
nothing like
excess regulation, but
Europe and
I
Asia.
think something that um that I think people can generally understand is that what happens with laws and regulations is that there's more and more of them every year, and unless there's a process to clean them up, eventually everything becomes
You're right.
illegal, and that actually it slows down the development of new technologies.
Yep.
I mean, if you take the sort of like I think there's room for some reform
He's hitting it right on the
at the
head, man.
FDA
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
improving the speed with which we approve drugs that could help save lives and improve people's
Yeah.
lives.
I worked very hard
And
on that.
you know
We got that
yeah,
down to the lowest number ever, and we got therapeutics approved in the FDA that people can't even believe the speed. But I took them on. I don't think they like me too much, but I got things approved in the FDA at numbers that they wouldn't believe. And it's a very bureaucratic group. Actually, it's a fine group of people in many cases. I got to know a lot of them, but I was pushing them really hard for Regeneron, for so many different things that were really pretty amazing. But the FDA takes too long. It's 12 years to get a product approved. I got it down to 4, and I
yeah.
got some things done very quickly. But it's really something that is going to have to be worked on because it takes too long. Just
There's a
takes
lot
too
of things
long.
that need to
Yeah,
be worked
it
on,
just takes too long,
not
and
just
it's
medicine.
you end up in the
This the
same
regulations
with the approval, but it just
has absolutely
it takes
stifled
years instead of
innovation in this
something
country.
that I think could
We
potentially
used to
take
Yeah,
be
months, that improves people's
we were
lives. And I
ahead of
yeah,
the
think
world in
and
innovation.
but I just
Regulation
wanted
has
to hop on this
absolutely
point that like
destroyed
there
that.
has to be an active process for reducing rules and regulations because otherwise they just keep building up every year and
yep,
you get like hardening of the arteries and eventually everything's illegal or takes forever and then we just we just ossify as a society. Uh, we can't make any
yeah.
progress, and that's it's a really big
Well,
deal.
Elon, just
So
getting back to the FDA for 1 second, I got something done called Right to Try. This is where you can go in and if you're terminally ill, you can use a space age, medicine or whatever it may be. We have the best doctors, the best labs in the world. We really do. And but people would go to other countries because you couldn't use the product, even if they thought it worked, because it's going through the FDA. I got it approved
yeah,
where you can
yeah,
you basically you look, nobody wanted, the doctors didn't want it because of the liability, the country didn't want it, our country, because they didn't want to get sued. These are people terminally ill. The insurance companies didn't want it, and the pharmaceutical companies, nobody wanted it. I got everybody into a room, and we came up with an agreement that you won't get sued. And also, they didn't want it on their record. If somebody's terminally ill and they die after taking a drug, they didn't want that on their record. So we set a separate list. If somebody was, so it wouldn't count as a negative.
yeah,
Okay. And as you know, we got it
yeah,
done. We have saved Right to Try. They've been trying to get this done for 58
yeah,
years. And it sounds simple, but it wasn't because of, I mean, the insurance companies, nobody wanted it, but we got it
Yeah,
done.
people
sure,
should
Somebody
definitely have the
signs,
right.
you
Listen,
sign a document that you're not going to sue the
when it comes
insurance
to
companies, the
medicine,
country, you're not
people
going to
have
sue
different
anybody.
opinions on
And we
things,
got it
and
done. And we're saving
some people
tens
believe
of
in it, some people
thousands
don't,
of lives.
and
Right to
I'm
try.
all for right to
Hopefully, you
try
never
in
need it.
general.
But
Let
if you
yeah,
people
do,
make the
you
decision
don't
on
have to travel
themselves
to
between
Asia.
them and their
People,
right,
doctor
if
what
they
they
had
want to
money,
do,
they go to
yeah,
Asia, they go
sure,
to
especially when
Europe.
they're
If
terminally
they
ill.
don't have money, they go home and die. That's what happened. They'd go home and
yeah.
die.
Well, I mean, and actually, to give Europe some props here, it's like if a drug is
Yeah,
approved
regulations are
in
definitely
Europe,
economy
which
killers,
has a
man.
crazy amount of regulations, it should obviously be approved in the U.S.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, they get more regulations
regulations
than
are
we do.
definitely economy
So
killers.
why would a
But
drug be approved in
it's
Europe
not
and
like
not in the U.S.?
we
That's
should
crazy.
have
Well,
smart
we did
regulation, right?
something
Like
that
you
really,
want to make sure
they've
there's
been trying
safety
to do it for
regulations and
50
stuff like
years and
that
they
with
just couldn't
things.
get it done. And I got it done.
You don't want
And
to just do
it's
shit
really
willy
something. But
nilly
you're
and
right.
having fucking
Some
kids
people
and
go to Europe because
working
a
in coal
drug isn't
mines again
approved
and
here,
shit
but
like
it's
that. But
approved in
like
Europe. And it's a drug that,
what Elon was saying it
generally
was right.
speaking, would
Yeah,
work.
There's more and
It's
more
pretty
regulation
crazy.
being
You're
added,
absolutely.
and it
right.
becomes
And
clogged, and
I think so long as people are
innovation
properly
is
informed of the
completely
pros and
stifled.
cons
And
and
like you
like
said,
these
the
are the risks,
economy's completely crushed.
this is the risk, and like you make your own decision.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, I think just,
So
in sort of closing up, and by the way, I'm looking at the numbers. You got a lot of people listening. I hope you don't get
yeah,
nervous because you got a lot of people listening to you right now, like 60 million or something. What is that number? It's crazy. It's amazing how you can see that right away. How many? What is the number? Wow. What is it?
Well,
Wow.
I think in
Wow.
terms of people
That's a
that
big. That's bigger than you said. You said 25, and you're much more than double that number. 25 million. I think you're going to be 60 or 70, and I guess over a period of time. Hey, that's. I congratulate you. Do I get paid for this or not?
He's silly, man. He's so
well,
fucking stupid.
I think actually in terms of the number of people that will hear this conversation over the next few days to
Right.
weeks, it's going to be hundreds of
That's what they
millions.
say. Yeah, that's good. Well, look, it's an
Yeah.
honor. Yeah, I just asked this: are you better off now, or were you better off when I was president? Nobody's better off now. People, we put out polls on that, and nobody's better off now. Inflation has killed it. And they also feel very unsafe. You look at what's going on with a lot of different things. You look at the riots we had at the
Yeah.
colleges over, I mean, it's ridiculous, but
Right.
all of the riots, they just feel unsafe. And now they really feel unsafe because you have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime. I call it Biden
Well,
migrant
yeah.
crime. Maybe I'll call it
Well,
Kamala migrant crime. But
I mean, with all these things, I always
It's
try to
like my
try to
camera's
get to the
moving a
ground
little
truth
bit
by just
better.
asking
No.
people. And my mom lives in New York, and I was like, Mom, do have any of your friends, been attacked or assaulted? And she said, yeah, three of her friends in
Oh
three
wow.
separate
crazy.
incidents were assaulted just in recent months, just walking around the streets of New York. And I said, well, did what happened to the people that assaulted them? Oh, nothing. They got away. Like, and they just
They
know that
always get away.
nothing's going to.
And even if they got
And they don't
caught,
even and they don't even bother
because of
reporting
the
it
cashless
because
bail in the
there's
state
not
of New
they
York, they
know
would have
that
been out in the streets
they're not
within
going
an hour.
to people are not going to get prosecuted. They just let violent criminals out in New York
The only one
with
that gets
zero bail.
prosecuted is Donald Trump. They don't get, they
So
prosecute
true.
Trump.
Yeah, I mean it's just obviously messed up
Oh, it's
if
terrible.
violent criminals are being getting off scot
Yep.
free, and meanwhile the New York spending massive resources prosecuting you, and it's like what's this and I think the sort of sensible
Bro,
public
I
looks at
feel
this
you
and
with
said,
that,
what the
man.
heck's going on
I'm
here?
still
This is
paying off
obviously
my
abuse of the
credit,
legal
man.
system.
I'm
Um,
still
the
I've
legal
had to
system is
dip
supposed to
into
be
my credit a
protecting the
little bit
Right.
public
more than
from
I like to.
violent
I
criminals,
wasn't doing it
and
under Trump.
it should be obviously allowing the public to make their
I'm
own decision
hovering, my
about
credit
who
score is
should be
hovering still
president,
in a good
as
place,
opposed
but
to
that's because
some
like every bit of my money is going back
legal
into making
case.
sure I'm
Once they
paying that shit
start this
down.
precedent, because
But I
this can
feel you,
go on
brother.
with the next one. I mean,
I'm
this
right
is
with
a
you, man.
very bad
I don't
precedent
make
what they're
enough
doing in terms of
to
going
be
after their
doing it, so
political opponent,
but
and
I
that's
do it
all it
anyway. I
is. It's
force
going
myself.
after their political opponent,
Yeah,
and then you get a judge
I
who's
agree. Our money should be going a
a
lot
strong
further
Democrat, and I'm being
than it
nice
is
when I
now.
say that. In many cases, crooked as hell. But you get a judge and you go into an area where a Republican gets 3 or 4% of the vote, and you'll have a jury pool
yeah,
with people that hate Republicans or hate. It could
sure,
also be the other way though,
of course,
because it could start the other way in areas where they hate
exactly.
Democrats, and you get into a
Yep,
Pandora's box. It's a very dangerous thing for this country, and a very dangerous thing even for the state. New York City is
yep,
losing. New York
absolutely.
City and state lose a lot of business over what they did to me, because these people say we don't want that to happen to us. That's no
Yeah.
justice
Well,
system. You have an unfair system of
Yes.
justice,
because of
and
Governor
it's
Hochul,
costing New York
businesses
State a
were leaving and
tremendous
people
amount
obviously
of
have left.
money. People are leaving and companies are
Capital
leaving, and
has
they
left the
won't come
state of New
back.
York at a
So,
record
all of
pace.
that stuff is important. But
But yes,
the economy
his
now is the
trials
big
in
thing, and
New
we
York
can turn
City
that
has
economy
actually
up so
affected
fast,
businesses leaving,
and people are going to be back again. We're
but
going
they
to
were
get rid
already
of
Yeah,
leaving
inflation.
I think there's a lot of
Right.
opportunity. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So
And I just
I
want to
think I
I want to
think
congratulate you. You've done an amazing job. You have definitely got a fertile mind. We can talk. You and I can talk about
well,
rockets
it's
and,
kind of you to say. Thank you.
well, tunnels. We can talk about tunnels and rockets and electric cars. So many things. And now you're into the AI, and that's going to be another beauty, I'll say. So
Yeah.
it's an amazing thing you've done, Elon. It's an amazing thing, and I
Well,
congratulate you.
I mean, thank you. And well, I mean, I just say here, here's to an exciting, inspiring future that people can look forward to and be optimistic and excited about what happens next. And that's the kind of future that I think you will bring as president, and that's why I endorse you.
Well, I appreciate that. That endorsement meant a lot to me. Not all endorsements mean that much, to be
very good,
honest.
man.
Your endorsement meant a lot.
Very, very
And you know,
good.
we have a phrase, "Make America Great Again." It's pretty simple, but it really says that we want to make America great again, and we can do it. We can do it now. But if we were going to suffer another 4 years like we've suffered for the last 4 years, I'm not sure the country can ever come back. That's how bad it is. It's so
Yeah,
bad. We have
we'll
to
be in a bad
we have to
spot.
do a
I
lot of
think that's a
things.
very real
Yeah,
risk.
it's a big
That's a
risk.
very real risk.
Yeah,
And it's, I'd just like to note to people listening, like I've not been very political before, and if you look at my record, I've actually been. I'm not like some they try to paint me as like a far right guy, which is absurd because I'm like making electric vehicles and solar and batteries, helping with the environment,
Yeah,
and
they
I
got him
actually
completely
I
pegged wrong.
I supported Obama. I stood in line for 6 hours to shake Obama's hand when he was running for president, and so it's not like I'm like some sort of dyed in the wool long term Republican. I call myself, uh, historically a moderate Democrat, and but now I feel like we're really at a critical juncture for the country, and
Spot
I
on,
think a
man.
lot of people thought the Biden administration would be a moderate administration,
Spot
but
on.
it's not, and obviously we were just
I
going to
knew it
see
wasn't going to be moderate. I know exactly who fucking Joe Biden
an even
is.
further left
The guy's been a
uh,
politician fucking longer
administration
than I've been
with
alive.
Kamala. That's my honest opinion. I
Watch
mean, her
this
dad
dude, a
is literally.
scumbag, scum of the earth.
I mean, she was brought up as an actual. Her dad is a Marxist economist. That's you can Google it. I mean, it's not a. We're not making this up. Um, that's how she was brought up. So, uh,
Yeah,
and we
Marxism
just
and
we want
and
to
fucking
have a
economists
future
don't
that is
even belong in
prosperous,
the same
and
sentence.
I think we're just at this critical juncture, and I think this is a case of the America is kind of at a fork in the road,
it's true.
and I think it will take if
It's
the
a big
path,
fork.
like you are the path to prosperity, and I think Kamala is the
If
opposite.
we vote the
Then
wrong
that's
way in
my I mean
November,
that's my honest
people,
opinion. I'm
we are
gonna get
fucking
attacked like crazy, and
speeding
I've also experienced quite a
towards
bit
a
of lawfare
catastrophic
myself,
failure in this
and
country,
but I'm
and
just
we will get
trying to tell people
overtaken
my honest opinion, and I haven't been
economically,
really active in
and
politics
it's just
before, and I'm just trying to point out that my track
we're a
record
nation in
historically
decline, and we
has
don't have to
been
be.
moderate, if not moderate,
We have the
slightly
tools
left,
and the means,
and
not only in our
so this is to
constitution,
people out there who are
to
in the
make this
moderate camp
republic,
to say
this
I think you
republic,
should
okay,
support Donald Trump for
what it should
president,
be and what it once
and
was.
I think it's actually a very important junction in the road, and we're in deep trouble if they don't, if it goes the other way.
Well, I want to thank you. And, you know, I actually always did think of you as somewhat left. I must say that. So it's
Yeah,
even more of an
well,
honor to have
yeah,
your endorsement. I know how strong you feel about it. But, you know, when you think of her, San Francisco, 15 years ago, I had a great friend, Bob Tish. He said it's the greatest city in America. And now it's not, it's
San
almost not
Francisco's
livable
always
there.
been a bit of
And
a progressive
California
city, but
likewise. And she
it was
was
pretty at
involved in
one
the
point.
destruction of San Francisco and the destruction of California. And she will be involved in the destruction of our country if people are
Yeah,
so
it's true. They
unwise
do. They
as
act
to
exactly like, oh, like the
elect her.
fucking Zerg
And
in
I hope that
StarCraft,
doesn't
man.
happen. And I hope the elections are going to be run honestly. And we're going to
Some
turn
chump
this
just to
country
say something
around.
the left
We're going to do
doesn't agree
things
with,
that,
and they
and
act
we
like
can
the
do it
bugs on
fairly
Starship
quickly.
Troopers.
And we have
They're
to
like
get rid
the
of the criminals that have been, you know, given to us by
definitely
other
like that,
countries
man.
as they
They're part
laugh.
of
They
a
laugh
hive
at
yeah,
us.
mind,
They
man.
think
They're
we're
like the
stupid
Zerg
to accept these
and
people. These are
xenomorph and
radical,
aliens.
stone
Complete
cold
hive mind.
killers in many cases, and terrorists. And they're in our country by the hundreds of thousands,
yeah,
and we have to take
yeah.
them out.
Yeah, I mean, if I
This
could
has been a
summarize it,
fantastic,
perhaps, I think
just straight up two dudes
these are
dialoguing,
issues that I
man.
think most people in America would agree with, which is that we want safe and clean cities, we want secure borders,
Yep.
we want sensible government spending, we want to restore both the perception and reality of respect in the judicial system, stop the lawfare, and I think like, and how are
I
those
wonder how
even
that money raising
right
he's
wing
doing.
positions?
I
I think
think he
those are
said he was
just
going to donate
that's just common sense,
$45 million
and
dollars
that's
a month to
I
help
mean,
with the
would you
ground
agree
game
with
and
that?
help with
100%. I don't
in
understand, you know, the
states that have
whole,
ballot
they call it
harvesting and
progressive. They
mail-in
don't like the
voting
word
and stuff
liberal
like
anymore,
that
but
to get
call
the
it
Republican
liberal or progressive. I don't understand how somebody could say that it's okay for them
ground
to
game
empty
going.
prisons
I'm
into our
curious
country.
to know how
And
that's
again, I
going.
told you their
Yeah,
crime rates
definitely
all
not
over the world
okay.
are going way down, which makes sense. In fact, the next time what we'll do is if something happens with this election, which would be a horror show, we'll meet the next time in Venezuela because it'll be a far safer place to meet than our country. Okay, so we'll go. You and I will go, and we'll have a meeting and dinner in Venezuela. because that's what's
He's
happening.
such a
Their
fucking
crime
goof.
rate's coming down and
He's
our
such a
crime rate's
fool.
going through the
I
roof.
love him.
And it's
He's
so
awesome.
simple. And you haven't seen anything yet because these people have come into our
He's right.
country and they're just getting acclimated. And they don't know about being politically correct law enforcement or lack of law enforcement. And our police, I have to just end with this. We have great police. We have great law enforcement, but they're not allowed to do their job. They have to be able to do their
Yeah.
job without being destroyed.
Well, absolutely, and it's obviously demoralizing if you're a police officer risking your life to
I
to
got plenty of
arrest
friends who are police
violent
officers and
criminals
family
who
who are
could kill
police
you and do
officers,
kill
and
you
they'll tell you
sometimes,
that yes, they should be
and
allowed to do
then
their
you
jobs,
arrest the violent
but a lot of
criminal,
them
and then
will
the
always tell you
the
as well that
DA
the
doesn't prosecute,
the bad
and
seeds
they've
need to
let the
be
guy
rooted
out.
Yeah.
out
Well, then,
as
like,
well,
why should a
because
police
like
officer
every
risk
profession,
their
there are bad
life
seeds, and
uh,
police are no
to
different.
arrest a violent felon
Well, even worse,
if
Elon,
And like
nothing's
I
going to
said,
happen?
all the
even
cops
worse,
in
they
my family and
prosecute the
friends will
police
tell you the same
officer.
thing,
they
that
they
they're
go after
handcuffed
it
right
and
now
they
to do their
prosecute
jobs,
the
but
police officer
there's
and they
plenty of
take away
video
his
you can see
pension.
of just
They take
terrible
away his
police.
Yeah.
job. He loses his family. He loses his house.
Well, I thought it was very telling, like incredibly telling, that when there was that case where sort of a gang of thugs beat up police officers. I think it was in Times
Yep.
Square in New York, and and then nothing happened to those guys. They were let out, zero bail, and I think a bunch of them
Yep.
were given free tickets to California. Well, what is I mean, that is a gross indignity against the United States, and that's how, I mean, this is insane. Like, have we lost all pride? What that how can such a thing be allowed to occur?
I've never seen anything.
You know?
We see where they get shot. It's a very dangerous profession, but it's something they're very proud of, and they
Excuse
want to
me.
be able to do their job. But I've seen them get shot. I've seen a lot of things, but I've never seen where these guys are standing in the middle of a big street, everybody watching them, and they're literally boxing, like punching, stand up fighting a police officer. There were two of them, and
Yeah,
yet about six
yeah,
of
yeah.
these guys, and they're punching the hell out of them. And in their own country, they would be dead if they
Executed.
did that. They'd be shot.
They'd be
Yeah,
They would be
executed
shot
in the countries they
instantly.
come from.
And they come from these countries, and it's taking them a while to realize that we don't do that in this country. But in their own
yeah,
country, if they stood
Oh,
on
it
a
hasn't
street
taken them a
and had a
while at
fight
all.
with a police
They
officer,
watch enough
they would be
fucking
shot.
American
There's
TV,
no
even in their
political
countries, to know
correctness.
that
And it's such a sad,
yeah. It's
it's
just
such a sad thing to
cops can't
see.
do shit
And
in this
that's the
country
reason you
we
have
anymore.
yeah
crime, by the way,
yeah,
because we don't do anything about
yeah.
it.
Yeah, we just cannot have a situation where our police officers are beaten up on camera by a gang of illegal immigrants, and then nothing happens to the guys that beat up the cops. I mean, and they're let out. This is
Well, we're going to
unacceptable.
change it,
Um,
and we're going to get them out of the country. When I first got involved, they said you couldn't get them back to these countries. You couldn't take them back. In the case of Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, some others, you couldn't get them back. And I said, really? Oh, you can't get them back because under Obama, he couldn't get them back. They'd fly them in, and they'd put planes on the runways in these countries, so you couldn't land a plane. They'd bring them back. And the generals told me, sir, we can't bring them back. The countries won't accept MS-13 gang members. They won't accept them. And I
Yes,
said,
they
really,
sure
how
did.
much do we pay these various countries in terms of economic aid, which is also somewhat ridiculous? And the answer was $750 million. I said, good. Tell them they're in default. They're delinquent. We're not paying them anymore because they won't accept
yeah,
their.
it's
And you know what happened? They all called me,
yeah,
every one
yeah,
of them. They said,
That's the way you got.
we
That's
would
the
be
way to do it.
honored to take them
Money
back, sir.
fucking
We would
talks,
be
bullshit
honored. It
walks.
was so easy,
Start
but it's
threatening a
one of those
poll
things.
for
And we got it
purse,
back. We took in so many, the
which we
MS-13
shouldn't
is
be spending
probably
yeah,
the
money
worst gangs
on some of these
in the
fucking
world. They're
nations
the
anyway. They
most
all hate
vicious,
us anyway.
violent. We took them out
The
of here
money could
by
be
the
going to U.S.
thousands and got
citizens
them
that
out
need
of
it.
here, and their countries took them back.
Plenty
And
of
because I
homeless in the
said, you're
streets
not
that could
getting
be
any
taken
more
care of.
economic aid. And once I said that, they were nice. They wouldn't take them back for
yeah,
Obama. They
yeah.
wouldn't take them back for anybody. And now we have a problem because we have this guy, and they don't take him back anymore with Biden because they don't respect him.
Yeah, yeah. It's just gotta be done. We just can't have whether they're citizens or not citizens. We can't have, because they won't prosecute citizens either, not just illegals. So that if you can't have violent, repeat violent offenders that are not that don't get
That's
incarcerated,
right.
because they will obviously, by definition, continue to hurt people. I think where part of this comes from is that there's and I do sort of consider myself liberal in some ways. I mean, it's just that you want to have empathy for
Right.
people. Obviously, you want to have empathy for people. I totally agree with that. You want to have empathy, but you also have to have empathy for the victims of the criminals. And if you just have empathy for the criminals, it's actually shallow empathy. It's not real. You're
Yeah.
not thinking. You're not. You have
But
one layer
I think
deep
where Elon doesn't
empathy.
understand
You
that
got to say like, what
it's not
if you
an
don't
empathy thing
incarcerate this
with
person?
the
Who
left,
are they going
okay?
to
And this whole thing
uh,
that's going on with cashless
hurt?
bail
Who are
and
they
just
might
letting
kill someone.
criminals
They
out
might
and letting
rape
people do
someone.
whatever they want.
If you don't
Okay,
incarcerate
this
them,
is
you have
all
to
done
have
by design,
empathy for the
and it's meant
victims.
to
And
destroy,
there's a lack of
okay,
empathy for the victims of the criminals,
any
and
positive
too much empathy for the
infrastructure
criminals.
in
It doesn't
life,
make sense.
okay,
That's why
period.
you want to have deep empathy for society as a
And it's right out
whole,
of a
not
Marxist playbook. And
shallow
you let the
empathy
criminal
Right.
you
criminals.
let the
And we
criminals
have
run
to give
wild,
our police officers
okay,
the
and do
dignity and
whatever
the
they want.
respect that they
It
deserve.
destroys
And we
society,
have
and
to let them do their
that's what they
job.
want to do is
They can do
destroy
a great
society
job,
so they can
but we
rebuild
have
it
to
the way
let
they
them
want
do
it.
their job. And if we don't do
They want
that,
to
we're,
destroy this republic,
it's going to
period.
all disappear. There's never been a society like this where you're allowed to do anything you want and nothing happens. And I'm talking about violent crime. And it's going to get more violent because these are really, really violent people. And we're going to get them out of our country and we're going to get them back to where, because they were sent here by the presidents and by the various people that run those countries. And I know every one of those guys.
Yep.
And they're smart people and they're streetwise people. And they really think that the USA is stupid. They think we're run by stupid people, and they
It's
happen to
because
be
we are
right.
run by stupid
But when I
people.
was there, we had no problem. We got them out. We took out thousands of MS-13 gang members. We brought them back. And now, again, it's the same old story. We don't do it.
Yeah.
And they actually gave them a
Not
big
only Castro,
increase
man.
in aid.
You're
They
right.
raised it
Castro
up to
definitely,
billions of
like, he followed
dollars,
the fucking
and
right to the
they
letter.
get
He
nothing for
followed
it. So,
right out of the Marxist playbook, man.
I
But
hope everybody's
everywhere
going to vote for
Marxism
Trump, and we're going
has
to get this country
destroyed their
straight. And
Yeah,
I
society
didn't need
and
this. I'm
gone
like you.
away
I didn't
from
need
any
this.
kind of
I had a very nice
democratic
life. I didn't
practices.
need
They've
to
absolutely
go
yeah,
through
yeah.
court
destroyed the
systems and go
country's
through all the other stuff
uh,
and run at the
Sure.
same
not only
time. I have to
society but
run. I
economically.
have to
They've
go
just been
through fake
devastated.
trials with, in
And
some
that is the
cases,
intent,
corrupt
is to
judges,
destroy our
totally
republic
corrupt judges. I didn't need it. I had a nice life. I
because
have
they want to
great
rebuild it in
locations.
their
I have
image
beautiful
because they got
oceans that
this
I have places.
weird notion that
This was,
if they
but
do,
I felt it was
you know,
important. And
it just
if I
socialism
had
just hasn't
if
been
I had
practiced
to do it
here.
over
And
again,
we actually have a lot
you
of
probably
different
think I'm
socialist
crazy
things
for
that we
doing
do
it, actually. But
that
if I had to do it over again, I would
economically
have
is fucking
done it
killing
over
us.
again because this is so much more important than me or my life. We're going to save this country. This country is going down. And these people are bad people that we're running against, and they're liars. They make statements. They do things that are so bad. They say they're going to make a strong border. They say they've been great on the border, and they've been the worst in history. They say they're
Yeah,
going to
it's
stop
horrible. Like
crime,
the
and
facts speak for themselves. The
it's so
facts
incredible.
speak for themselves. Like it's gotten to the point where people just don't even bother reporting crime in a lot of
That's
cities
right.
because they know nothing is going to happen. Um, that's what I hear anecdotally from people all the time. Um, so it's just my values. I'm just saying to people out there, like the things I think are important for the future is like we've got to have safe cities, we've got to have secure borders, we've got to have sensible spending, and we've got to have
Right on.
deregulation, and
Right.
It's
so we
good
can
to
have a
see
prosperous
Elon
future, and then we want to have some exciting,
admit
sort of
that
moonshot
he's always
projects
been a
that people
historically
can
liberal
get fired
person,
up
and
about,
but his
and
idea of what
that's
liberalism is
the future I'm
nowadays
looking
just
for, and
doesn't compute with the
I'm pro
progressive left of
environment,
the modern
I'm not
Democratic
against,
Party here in the United States,
I'm
which I
not
call
like
them the
I
American
don't think we should
Communist Party
vilify the
because
oil
they
and
do
gas
everything
industry because they're keeping civilization
right out
going
of the
right
Marxist
now,
playbook.
and but I do think we want to move at a reasonable speed towards a sustainable energy economy. Those are my values, and I think um, and so I mean that's uh, why I'm supporting you for president.
Well, I
So
appreciate it. We're going to give incentive to companies to come into our country, not to leave our country. We're going to be giving tremendous
We got to
incentives.
bring a
We
lot of
want
try to bring a lot
companies
of
to
American
build
companies
here,
back.
not to
That was
build in other
happening under his
locations.
last
And we
administration.
want to create jobs. And again,
They were
it's about
building
the
again here
American
in the
dream.
United
You
States,
don't hear
man.
about the American dream anymore, Elon. You don't hear. You're the American dream in the truest sense, but you
Yeah,
don't hear about the American dream
yeah.
anymore.
The
And you're
modern
going to
day
hear
liberal
about
is
it.
not really a liberal.
People, they need that
You're
incentive to
absolutely
go
correct.
out
yeah.
and do it. And they're going to love their lives. I mean,
The
they're going
word
to look
liberal
forward to
itself is
getting up
just
in the morning and going to,
it's not very
going to a
liberal
job that they love,
nowadays.
not a job that they can't stand, or not any job at all where they have no money, where they
Yeah.
literally have no
Jonathan
money,
says
and then
that
they end up with
there hasn't
violence and
been a
lots of other problems. No, we're going to do
a
we're
Yeah.
going to do
movement
some great things, and I
since
learned a
before
lot in the
Wilson,
first. We had a great
and he's
economy and
absolutely
all of
correct.
that. We
If you know
rebuilt
your
the military. We
history,
did so much, but
Jonathan
I
knows his
also
history
learned,
because
and
we've
I
been
also
talking a
learned the
little bit
best
about it
people. I
here.
learned the
So
good people, the smart people, the dumb people, the people that can do things. The people, you
if you don't
learn.
know your
When I
history and
first came
the
in,
history of
I
this
tell
nation
people I was in
and what it is that we're
Washington,
facing,
D.C. only 17 times,
you're
according to the
dooming
fake
yourself.
news media. I was in 17 times. I never stayed over.
Are we a
And you don't
perfect
know
nation?
people. You rely
Absolutely.
on
Can you
other
name a
people to give you
country in this
names, and
world
then
that's
you
actually
realize the
perfect
people you relied
in the
on
history of
weren't so good.
mankind?
Now, we had great people, but we also had some where I wouldn't have,
But we are,
used
without a
them had I
doubt,
known. Now I
Yeah.
know everybody. And I think
with all the tests we've been through in
we're going to
life
really turn things
and in
around
the
fast.
history of
We have no
our
choice,
nation,
otherwise we're not
okay,
going to have a
we are
country.
the
And
best human
I really
experiment
appreciate this. Has been, to me, it's been a lot of fun being with
in
you.
the
You're
history of
an amazing guy. You've done an
mankind,
incredible job
humankind,
and a
however you want
great
to say it.
inspiration to
Uh,
people. A great inspiration, and I hope you keep going and just continue to do well. And
we need to
we're
preserve
going to
that.
have a big election coming up, and I think November 5th will be
Our
the
founding
most
fathers understood
important
it, even with
day
all the things
in
that
the
were
history of
happening
our
during that
country. I
time,
think that election
things
will
that
be
they
the most
couldn't
important
get rid of right
election,
away, like
and I think
slavery and
it'll
stuff
end up
like that.
being
They knew
maybe
that
the most
they knew it was
important
going to lead
day
to
in
a
the
civil
history of
war.
our
They
country,
understood that,
because if
Yeah.
we
and they
don't
knew
win, I
that
just feel so
the
sorry for
new republic
everybody.
would have crumbled
No, I think we're
had they did
at a
anything
fork in the
about it
road
right then.
of destiny of civilization,
Right or wrong,
and
that was
and I
just what had
think
to happen
we
at the
need to
time.
take the right path, and I think you're the right path. So I think
Well,
that's what it comes down to.
thank you very much, Elon. It's a great
It was a
honor,
great
and
dialogue between
we'll
two
do it
men,
again sometime. And
something that doesn't
it's
happen
been
very
really fun,
often.
and I hope you got a lot of
Uh,
viewers. I hear you got a lot, but I
I've
hope
had
you
Sure.
got.
like
Yeah.
two viewers. Somebody's been
I know
hitting
you
there,
got a lot of them.
and
So I appreciate it.
I
I'll
just
see
want
you
to thank
soon.
All right.
Jonathan
Sounds good.
Stevie
Thank
for
you.
fucking hanging with me
Thank you,
tonight
Elon.
and
Thank you very much. Bye.
helping me with my audio stuff and everything. He didn't have to do any of that, bro. You didn't have to do any of that. You helped me out, man, with this live stream, and it's been a long one, and you've stuck it out with me, man. So you say, well, Wilson was a progressive proto-fascist. FDR was a flat-out fascist. Even Mussolini said so, and the Dems have been marching left from there since. You're fucking hitting the nail right on the head, man. That one. Yeah, FDR gets unnecessary credit for shit that he did because, he was a wartime president, but he was a fucking, he was right there. Yeah, that's true. But we've had a pretty good stream tonight, and I want to thank again. I'm gonna thank Jonathan Stevie, who's just he's been fucking a huge part of it tonight, helping me out with my sound and stuff like that while listening. Brother, thank you very much for tuning in. And like I said, somebody else is tuned in there, but they just haven't spoken up. I've had two freaking uh two viewers tonight, and I'm okay with that, man. Okay, just the fact that I had, someone tuning in and engaging with me throughout this whole live stream was very important to me because it's a learning process for me. I'm new with this, and I appreciate it, man. I hope you come back again. Again, I'm Sundays at 7 p.m. and I really hope you come back, brother, and hang with me. Uh, this weekend, anybody else that might be listening, one of my buddies might come on. It's not definite yet because he's got a pretty busy schedule. But if he does, I'll when I post my live, what do you call it? When I put it on YouTube, when before I go live, excuse me, I'll put his name in there and everything, and that way you can learn a little bit. He was supposed to be on my first live I did months ago, and we just technically we couldn't get together for whatever reason. So I'm hoping that we won't have those issues again. And again, I want to thank you again, Jonathan, man. I hope you come back on Sunday, and I will definitely see you on Tugs and X-Rays streams. I'll definitely tune in a little bit more so I can say what's up to you and whatnot. And I will thank you publicly in front of everybody for helping me out on this live tonight. That was a fantastic dialogue between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. 45, hope to be 47. Two men coming together, talking about the issues in this country and what needs to be done. Elon Musk's getting behind him and saying, "Hey, if you need me for anything other than money, because even though he's going to be helping out with like 45 million a month until this election is over, He's willing to give him the time and the effort to make this country better. Okay, with innovation, they talked about innovation. They not only talked about his opponents, but they talked about the military. They talked about uh, green energy. They talked about oh yeah, definitely, man. I'll definitely tag you in the chat to get your attention. Uh, definitely, man. Yeah, no, I know you mod for them, bro. So like, I'll definitely tag you and fucking let you know. Uh, hey, I'm saying what's up, but I'm gonna, what do you call it? I'm gonna hit up Tug's Discord and thank you publicly to everybody in the chats there because I really appreciated your help tonight that you didn't have to give me. Okay, you tuned in to listen to Elon and Trump with me, and you gave me help along the way to try to help me with my sound and whatnot. And that to me is I told you, I'm a humble dude, so I appreciate when people fucking help me out, and I'm not afraid to admit it that I I needed it, I guess. So again, man, thank you very much, and thank you for the interaction too. Yeah, what exactly does Mongoose do to get your attention? Just tags you? Yeah, I know you say not to thank you, and I appreciate that, man. That's just you being a good fucking human being to another guy, helping another dude out. And I'm just, like I said, I'm a humble guy, man. I, you know, I'm not afraid to admit when I need the help, and I'm also not afraid to acknowledge when I'm being helped and appreciative of it. So, and I just appreciate your back and forth with me too, the dialogue, man. It's important to have viewers and, people in the chats. I've been on enough YouTube channels. Uh, I've been on enough YouTube channels watching people and stuff like that, and interacting with their viewers and stuff like that, and it's important. It helps with the flow, and it helps things. In this case tonight, it was more of a listening, because we wanted to hear what Trump and Elon had to say. And again, like I said, they talked everything from green energy to the military to adversaries of the world, American adversaries, and to the economy. They hit it all over the place tonight, and it was important to hear those two men. Okay, one man of industry, well, two men of industry actually, because even though Trump was a president, he was a man of construction, and Elon's a man of fucking technology. So it was just good to see them two together. I know they had kind of had some beef in the past that seems to be behind them, and I'm just appreciative that someone like Elon, who's not even a native born American, he loves this country so much that he's willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that the republic is saved, and that's what's important. So, uh, I will definitely, Jonathan. I know you might have to go. Thank you again for your help. I will reach out to you in Tug's in her chats and stuff like that. And just again, I'll probably thank you on Discord. I'm going to make sure I thank you, uh, so everybody knows that you helped me out, stuff like that. And hopefully you can, bring some people with you if you come back in on Sunday or whenever I go live. I'll post it again like I did tonight. I posted it in the Discord chat for Tugs, and I appreciate you coming on and just and hanging with me, man. So we're gonna wrap it up, America. Again, Jonathan, thanks, brother. And I know I'll be seeing you soon, hopefully. Thank you very much, man. And America, I am the Big Red One guy signing out. And I want you all to remember that we live in the greatest country in the world. And nobody can change my mind about that. I've been to some fucking third world countries, and I wouldn't give this country up for anything. So I want to God bless you all. Those of you that tuned in, that one person who was hiding, okay, as well, God bless you all. God bless America, and have a good night, America. Big Red One guy signing out.